please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome to this evening matchup between the Boonville Lumberjacks and the Oneonta Outlaws. Boonville coming into this game on a 9-game losing skid. Collapsed yet again last night against the Amsterdam Mohawks for an error from third baseman Miguel Gonzalez. Allowed the Amsterdam Mohawks to plate 2 game-winning runs. It's been a trend for the Lumberjacks heading into this match against the Outlaws, as they have held teams close in these losses, but have racked up 16 combined errors across their last 9 games, all of which have been losses, and those have specifically driven their late game collapses. Their pitching staff has really picked up the slack for the fielding unit's inability to have a clean game. Allowed 5 or less earned runs in their last 4 games, and all 4 of those contests have been decided by 2 or less runs. But on the other hand, the Oneonta Outlaws riding a recent hot streak. Coming into Hanson Aggregates Field, they recently won 3 straight games between July 18th and July 21st. They did lose on the 22nd to the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dawgs, but this squad has really been bolstered by some welcome additions, including Cole Waterman, who you will see tonight at first base. Currently sports a .316 batting average along with a .474 slugging percentage with just 2 strikeouts across his 19 at-bats. But they will face Sebastian Rivera on the night tonight. He is a rising sophomore at Monroe University in the Bronx. Last collegiate season, he had an 8.06 ERA and held teams to a .311 opposing batting average. Struggled during his first season there, but he has been one of the newer additions to this Lumberjacks roster. And he only has an inning under his belt this season where he did allow an earned run, but stepping up to the plate to face him first will be Kaz Uehara in center field tonight for the Outlaws. The sophomore at Wofford originally attended IMG Academy in high school. He was teammates with Max Martzolf, who is currently on the Boonville Lumberjacks roster. That's the first pitch, and that is going to be called for a strike on the outside part of the zone. Opens things well for Rivera, who will look to make the most of that lefty-lefty matchup that he has against Uehara. Look to use that leverage to hammer the outside part of the zone. He did that there to open the count. He flares that one foul, so quick 0-2 hole here for Uehara. Need to protect the plate here. And he has been everyday leadoff hitter for the Oneonta Outlaws this season. He is very speedy on the base pass, so definitely a solid option to have there in that leadoff spot. But he has a payoff pitch coming here, and that is put low there. Rivera went to that off speed, tried to get him to cut through it, but to no avail. And Uehara, one of the highest batting averages on the team, a 296 clip, along with a 441 on base percentage, has a great eye at the plate, and you are seeing that on full display right now. He's been able to work the count to even against Rivera. And Rivera making his first start of the season. His first appearance, he was a reliever, but valuable left-handed arm that Jay Gonzalez can wield. And that is put right on the outside part of the zone for strike 3. Kazuhara lets that one get past him, and Rivera catches him looking to open up the game. And that is going to bring up Matthew Carrera in the 2-hole spot, shortstop for the Oneonta Outlaws. And Carrera, he is currently looking to transfer from Hudson Valley Community College, just finished his second year there at the JUCO school. He's a Mount Sinai, New York local, at a 392 average with 39 RBIs and 20 stolen bases last season. He was also on Oneonta's roster in 2024, so he is coming back to this squad this year, looking to finish off the season on a high note. The Outlaws have been eliminated from the playoffs, while the Lumberjacks are still in contention, but that 9-game losing streak has forced them to slip from the number 2 spot all the way down to the number 5 spot, where they find themselves 2.5 games out of the playoffs. That's a good pitch there from Rivera. Carrera just got a small piece of that, made weak contact with that ball. But for the Lumberjacks, you really have to get things clicking soon, because they are running out of time. Only 5 games left on their schedule, and that includes high leverage matchups against the Amsterdam Mohawks and the Utica Blue Sox. This is their last game against the Outlaws. Have gone undefeated against this team so far this season, winning all 5 contests. But that could change, and Oneonta appears to be a different team than they were at the start of the year. Rivera gets him to put that one on the ground. Angel Santiago muffs that one up there, right in the middle of the infield, and that is going to allow Carrera to advance to first. Angel Santiago lifted his eyes a little too early on that one, and that is going to be another error for the Lumberjacks, marking their 10th straight game with one, and that has really, again, driven this skid. They started off on a low note tonight. See if they can respond heading into the later frames of this game, and the 3-hole hitter in Zach Porter is now up to the plate. Powerful right-handed bat for the Outlaws. Rivera winds and delivers that, puts it right down the inside part of the plate for strike 1. Rivera really opening counts strong tonight. Has only seen 3 batters so far, but has done a nice job of finding the zone. He eyes Carrera at first. He's a speedy runner on the base paths, but that is put just inside. Went back to the inside part of the zone, but that just strayed a little too inside. Zach Porter, 292 batting average this season, along with a 405 on base percentage and a 349 slugging percentage. He does have 6 doubles on the season, along with 12 RBIs. Doesn't have any runners in scoring position right now, but a timely double could plate a run for the Outlaws. Sebastian Rivera puts that well inside, so 3-1 hitters count here for the dangerous 3-hole hitter in Zach Porter. Look to take advantage of it in this situation. Rivera will need to put down a strike to stay in this count. He does fire it back to first baseman Akil Imala, who's making his first start in quite some time. He's away visiting his brother, who he hadn't seen in over 9 months this past week. But he is back tonight at first. That one gets away from Rivera, his first walk of the night.
Now at bat number 10.
And the Oneonta Outlaws are threatening early in this contest. Cole Waterman will now step up to the plate, the prized acquisition for Keaton Mark and company. Another very powerful left-handed hitter. He's from Detroit, Michigan. He's actually on the Detroit Tigers scout team in high school, and he is committed to Mineral Area Junior College, which is located in Missouri. But that one gets a little high on Waterman. So ball to open the count with 2 men on. And Waterman has really taken the league by storm early. .316 batting average, .440 on base percentage, and .474 slugging percentage, along with a double and a triple that has really driven his slugging percentage up. You can see Rivera is pitching away from him, knowing the type of hitting ability that Waterman has. And it was actually Josiah Aska, the assistant coach for the Oneonta Outlaws, that originally brought him in. He's also from the Detroit area. That was most definitely a valuable pickup for the Outlaws. Rivera puts that one on the outside, looking to pitch away from Waterman, who obviously has a very strong pull potential with his bat. He's a 104.0 mile per hour exit velocity, along with an 82.8 mile per hour bat speed. Can really move the bat well, and that is he's gonna hold up on that. So hitters count to Waterman, not a position you want to be in if you are Rivera. Rivera, again, a Puerto Rico local, specifically from Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. He attended Leadership Christian Academy there, and he has another hitter's count that he will need to work out of. Waterman flares that back, so good delivery from Rivera to stay alive in this count. Walked Porter onto first in the previous hitter's count that he faced, but was able to get one past Waterman, so full count battle coming up. Rivera will need to carefully deliberate what he is going to deliver to Waterman here. And that one gets put right down the plate. Second looking strikeout for Rivera. He gets past Oneonta's most formidable hitter. Very timely strikeout for the left-handed pitcher. He records his second strikeout of the night. And that is going to bring up Dane Richards. Previous game against the Lumberjacks at home, he went 4 for 4 and launched a leadoff home run against them. So he has done great against the Boonville Lumberjacks specifically this season. He's another player from the state of Michigan, went to Macomb County Community College, where he posted a .292 batting average with 9 extra base hits and 26 RBIs that season. He is actually from Macomb, Michigan as well. So hometown kid attending his hometown university. But he is down quickly, 0-2 in the count. And Dane Richards, .286 batting average. He does have 23 strikeouts on the season, so has struggled seeing the ball at times. Can Rivera put it past him here? That one gets put outside right there, and that is going to allow Carrera to steal third. He had a great jump on that. So runners will be on the corners here for the Outlaws. 1-2 count for Carrera. He still has a payoff pitch to use at his disposal. He'll be able to get 3 strikeouts in this inning, and that gets put just outside. Rivera thought he got his third looking strikeout there, but the umpire does not budge. Even count coming up for Dane Richards. His sole home run was actually against the Lumberjacks. Hasn't replicated that since. So the 2-2 delivery, Richards puts that back, stays alive in the count. Quality hitting from the Macomb, Michigan local. And Rivera, another payoff pitch here, but Dane Richards doing a nice job of protecting the plate. With the payoff delivery here, he puts that just outside. Went to an off-speed pitch there that just strayed a little bit too far. So full count coming up. Second straight at-bat where Rivera has a chance to punch out a batter in a full count situation. Will he be able to do it again here? Runners on the corners. Rivera winds and delivers that and puts it on the inside there. He really wanted that call, but that'll be the second walk of the inning for Rivera, and will load the bases up. Ian Wirtz will now step up to the plate. Blank count to work with. And Wirtz behind the extra hitter position tonight, but he is one of the Oneonta Outlaws catchers. Zach Porter is behind the plate for them tonight against the Lumberjacks, but still a quality option at the catcher position for the Outlaws. Rivera puts down a ball there on the outside. He has really been pitching away from hitters early in this contest, but Wirtz is able to drive that deep into left center field. That ball is tracking. That ball is deep, and it goes off the wall there. Chase Triplett corrals it, and Dane Richards rounds for home. 3 Oneonta runners are plated, and Ian Wirtz will advance to third on that, so the extra hitter clears the bases for the Outlaws. Drove that right to that left center field fence. Went off it, and that allowed the speedy Outlaws to plate 3 there. Quality hit from Wirtz to open up the contest. That is how you want to start against a pitcher that is making his first start. Can really rattle him and affect his composure. But he delivers a strike there against Robinson. And Robinson has the most steals on the Outlaws roster, so watch out if he can get on base for them. He has an even count here. Robinson, redshirt freshman at Gardner-Webb University, is coming all the way from South Plainfield, New Jersey, to compete in the PGCBL. He's the number 44th ranked shortstop in that state, and number 270 overall. He has great gap-to-gap abilities at the plate, but he does have 28 strikeouts on the season, which leads the team, and that is going to be his 29th right there. So Sebastian Rivera strikes out 3, but 3 get put on the board for the Outlaws in the top of the first off the bat of Ian Wirtz. Will the Lumberjacks lineup be able to respond and jump on the Outlaws pitching staff early? We will see coming up. We're back here in the bottom of the first. Oneonta able to get on the board early here off the bat of Ian Wirtz, who drove a bases clearing double off the left center field fence. Great base running for the Outlaws. They're able to make the most of that hit and get all the runners that they had on base home. But that'll bring up Andy Perez to lead things off for the Lumberjacks. He had his first 3 strikeout game yesterday against the Mohawks. He has struggled with strikeouts in the past couple games. has had 4 across those 2. And that is a rarity for Andy Perez, who only has 14 strikeouts on this season, almost representing half of his strikeouts in the past 2 games. So a bit of a slump for the right-handed hitter, but on a more positive note, Andy Perez is reaching the stolen base record in the PGCBL. He is 2 away from tying the record that currently stands at 43 stolen bases. Andy Perez has 41 right now, and he's 3 away from breaking that record. If he can get on base, watch out for Andy Perez to try and steal some bags here as he puts that one foul against Zach Rao, who will be making the start tonight for the Oneonta Outlaws, able to get an even count here on Perez and a payoff pitch to boot against the right-handed leadoff hitter. But Rao, sophomore at SUNY Oneonta, wants a degree in criminal justice, where he wants to eventually become a state trooper. And Perez pokes that one right into right field there. Was able to reach his hands out on that one and got the barrel on it. And the Lumberjacks are in business in this inning. And again, watch out for that stolen base record. Andy Perez most definitely will try and steal here to get one closer to that record, and that'll bring up Chase Triplett to the plate. Wanted me to give shout out to his mom and his grandma, who are watching at home tonight. Triplett has been heavily influenced by them throughout his life, and he has been an absolute firecracker of a player for the Lumberjacks this season. 375 batting average, which leads the team. He also has the team high in slugging percentage at a 556 clip. 7 doubles and 2 home runs on the season along with that. Triplett looked to drive Perez home here. Andy Perez able to advance on a passed ball that got past Zach Porter behind the plate on an inside pitch to Triplett. So runner in scoring position for the powerful left-handed hitter. Is a 2-0 count to work with, so can really ease into this count. He takes a ball just inside there, able to work it to 3-0, and will most definitely take here. And Chase Triplett recently just completed his first year at Seminole State College in Central Florida. It's a Lake Mary, Florida local. And that is going to be delivered down. And Andy Perez able to get there in time. That brings the count to 42. He needs just one more to tie the record.
Now at number 2, Angel Santiago.
So Andy Perez draws one closer. And runners will be on the corners here for the 3-hole hitter in Angel Santiago with 0 outs against Zach Rao. And Zach Rao, he's a Hudson, New York local, which is located in the beautiful Hudson Valley region of southern New York. He had a 4.46 ERA his last collegiate season, recording a 2-2 record in 42 1/3 innings pitched. Let's get one on Angel Santiago there. Pokes that one foul. So payoff delivery coming up to Santiago at the plate. And Rao will look to record his first strikeout of the night here. Angel Santiago been another struggling hitter at the plate for the Lumberjacks. But he does take that ball to battle in this count. He only has 1 hit across his last 5 games and 1 walk in that span as well. So it's been a low point for him, but he puts that one right down the third base line. What an excellent play out there from Oneonta third baseman Jaden Kennedy, but that will also plate Andy Perez. Angel Santiago put that right in a spot where they couldn't deliver the ball to Zach Porter at home. Nice job of relying on situational hitting there to also advance Chase Triplett to second, so he will be in scoring position with the juggernaut known as Carter McKay stepping up. Has some real power in that tan bat. He has 4 home runs on the season, has specifically launched balls over that right field fence, has great pull potential. He will look to tie the game. All it would take is one swing of Carter McKay's bat to tie it. He recently just finished his freshman year at Memphis University. He's an Arlington, Tennessee local. That one gets fired right on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. McKay has struggled at times with strikeouts this season. Rao, opportunity to add another one to the ledger for McKay. 1-2 delivery coming up with Chase Triplett on second. That one gets low there. Went to that low inside part of the zone where Carter McKay specifically struggles to hit the ball in. Opted to attack it there. Almost everywhere else is a hot spot for the left-handed hitter, but that has been his notable cold spot this season. Rao wisely tries to attack that part there. Will he go back to that? Potentially a fastball or off speed in that area, the zone against McKay. McKay fires that right past Zachary Robinson there at second. Chase Triplett not realizing that the right fielder out there had a little bit of trouble corralling that ball, and he doesn't opt to advance home, but McKay will advance to first there. Potential run that was missed on that one. So runners on the corners yet again for the Lumberjacks with Jorge Oliveira stepping up to the plate. He has yet to record a hit in his 6 at-bats this season. Look to launch his first one here tonight. He is another Puerto Rico local, specifically from the San Juan area. Came here along with Sebastian Rivera as one of the newcomers on this Lumberjacks roster. He's playing center field tonight for the squad, and he pokes that right down the third base line, but that one will track foul to even the count at 1. Runners still on the corners. Chase Triplett on third, and Carter McKay on first. And Jorge Oliveira completed his first year at Vernon Community College in Texas, where he posted a .350 batting average along with a .600 slugging percentage. Has some serious power. 10 home runs, 11 doubles, and 2 triples. And also recorded 55 RBIs during that season. He played for the Bellingham Bells in the West Coast League last summer, but is going to the East Coast this summer to play for the Lumberjacks. Head coach Jay Gonzalez has substantial connections with the island of Puerto Rico, and that's how he's been able to get some of these guys, including Oliveira and Rivera, to further bolster this roster. And he chops that one right in the shallow middle of the infield, and that is fired past Cole Waterman there. It'll advance Triplett to home. Carter McKay stays at third, but Jorge Oliveira able to get to second base, and the Lumberjacks have 2 runners in scoring position here.
Now, bat number 25, Connor Larson.
Connor Larson, the 6-hole hitter tonight for the Lumberjacks, will step up to the plate here. Connor Larson coming all the way from Minnesota, came in that package along with Rivera and Oliveira. Seeing plenty of action from the 3 newcomers tonight for the Lumberjacks. He pokes that one back there. And Larson, he had a big infield single that drove home 2 runs in the Lumberjacks' recent 5-4 loss to the Sartese Stallions. put them up 4-3 heading into the bottom of the ninth, but that was another lead that the Lumberjacks squandered. Very smart play from Sebastian Burgos in that game on the base paths. Read that the Sarti's second baseman did not field it well and was deliberating whether he should throw it over to second, but Larson fires that one into foul territory, and Jaden Kennedy will be able to get under it for the second out of the inning here.
Now with bat number 31, Erwin Cabasa.
So timely out for Rao on the mound. And that is going to bring up Erwin Cabasa. Didn't play yesterday, but has been a strong addition to the Boonville Lumberjacks lineup this season. He came in late as well. Played at Seminole State College along with plenty of other players on this roster. So very familiar with a lot of guys in the clubhouse and in the dugout. But he will be attending Texas Southern next season, as he just completed his 2 years at Seminole State. He's a rising junior heading down to Texas. Rao winds and delivers that and puts it down the plate, but that is going to be called a ball there. So 2-0 here to Cabasa at the plate. 2 outs. Runners on second and third here. Cabasa also specializes at catcher and first base, but is occupying the designated, or he's actually occupying right field tonight. Bit of a new position for the right-handed hitter, who typically occupies either the position behind the plate or right next to the first base bag. But Jay Gonzalez putting guys in uncomfortable environments to get them used to playing multiple positions. That is how you grow as a player, and Erwin Cabasa is experiencing that tonight in right field. Haven't seen much action from him defensively tonight thus far, but that is an interesting thing to note heading into the later frame of this game. How will he be able to adapt to that position if a ball gets sent out to that right center gap or even right field area? But he does have a hitter's count here, and he is a dangerous hitter at the plate. And that gets scoots right on the inside part of the zone, looking strike 2. So waste the hitter's count there. And Cabasa, .333 batting average and a .375 on base percentage. Hasn't recorded many extra base hits this season, but has racked up a ton of singles. He pokes that one right to Jaden Kennedy at third, who fires it over to Cole Waterman for the third out of the inning. Oneonta gets out of it. Zach Rao stops the bleeding, but not before the Lumberjacks tack on 2 runs to cut this lead. And the Oneonta Outlaws lead this game 3-2 heading into the top of the second. We will be back with the Outlaws lineup coming up. And we're back here in the top of the second. Been a high-scoring affair thus far, with both teams tacking on a 5 combined runs in the first inning. We head into the top of the second with Lorenzo Camilleri, the designated hitter for the Oneonta Outlaws, stepping up to the plate here. He's a left-handed hitter from Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey. He's a Hudson County Player of the Year. Along with that, he's a New Jersey Tech commit, so hasn't even played his first collegiate game yet, but he will be attending there in the fall. Rivera, he was able to rack up 3 strikeouts in his first inning pitch, but nevertheless allowed 3 runs in that same inning. He will look to limit the run production of this hot Oneonta Outlaws lineup. Even count to Camilleri at the plate here. He is also one of the newer additions to the Outlaws roster. He is only 30 at-bats on the season, but has racked up 13 strikeouts, so nearly half of his at-bats have been ended in a strikeout. He has a 133 batting average, along with his 1 extra base hit to go along with that, which actually was a home run, so serious power capability, but he needs to have a better eye at the plate to truly break out as a lineup option for the Outlaws. So 3-1 hitters count. Rivera puts that outside, and that is going to be his 4th walk already of the contest. That one scooted just outside on Camilleri. Tried to pitch away from the lefty using that leverage that he has on the mound, but that one got away from him there, and will bring up the 9-hole hitter in Jaden Kennedy, making his first start since June 5th for the Oneonta Outlaws. He will look to start it with a bang. And Rivera winds into the side. He puts it right on the ground to Mason Resmondo out at second, who flips it over to Angel Santiago, and that is a double play there. That is their 4th in their last 2 games. Lumberjacks have done an excellent job of patrolling the middle of that infield, and they turned that one perfectly there. Mason Resmondo, one of the few times that we've seen him at second base this season, which is his primary position, and he does an excellent job of taking his time with that, knowing that Angel Santiago would be able to make up for it with his arm strength. Great chemistry shown there from the second baseman and shortstop to get 2 quick outs in this inning. Rivera will just need to get past 1 more here to get out of his second inning pitch unscathed. That one gets foul there. Owen Burnsworth will represent the last hitter in the lineup for the Outlaws. The 10-hole spot. Will he be able to allow this inning to bleed over into the top of their order? The 1-1 count. Rivera winds and delivers that and puts it right on the inside part of the zone for strike 2. Quality pitch from the southpaw to paint the chalk on that. 1-2 count coming up here for Rivera. Look to make the most of it. Burnsworth, another welcome addition to this Oneonta Outlaws lineup, and he pokes that one right into left field. Slides in front of Chase Triplett out there, who's been seeing a lot of action in left tonight. Burnsworth keeps the inning alive with that single, and he'll bring up Kaz Uehara. Struck out in his first at-bat, but now he has a man on first to work with. Still 2 outs here for Rivera. Has that slight cushion to work with to close out this inning. And Rivera winds and delivers that, and he hits Uehara there. It's the 4th batter that he has let advance to first. First pitch got away from him in that at-bat, and now the Outlaws have a runner in scoring position with Matthew Carrera stepping up to the plate. Reach on an error from Angel Santiago in his first at-bat of the night. The Lumberjacks have already racked up 2 errors in this contest thus far. History does indeed repeat itself. The Lumberjacks are most definitely reflecting that. And that gets put right to Erwin Cabas, who makes an excellent diving grab out there. His first start in right field, and he opens it up with a bang. I mentioned earlier it would be interesting to see how Erwin Cabasa would adapt to that new position, and he read that well and made up for the lost ground, dove right in front of it to get the final out of the inning. And the Oneonta Outlaws only head into the bottom of the second with a 1-run lead thanks to the right fielder Erwin Cabasa, who may have found his new permanent position with that play. What an excellent play there from him. We will be back with the Lumberjacks lineup after this. We're back here in the bottom of the second where the Lumberjacks will look to tie the game or take the lead. Bottom of the order coming up, Akil Nimala, Miguel Gonzalez, and Mason Resmondo due up at the plate. Nimala making his first start in quite some time. Again, he was visiting his brother back in Florida for the past couple days. He hasn't played in 5 games, and he has been held hitless in his last 2 appearances. Takes a strike in the lower part of the middle of the zone. Rao opens it up well on the mound against Nimala. So 0-1 count to right-handed hitter, and he pokes that one foul there. Just got a piece of it, but Rao, early payoff pitch coming up. Nimala, one of the top players in the state of Florida, from Valrico, Florida specifically, attended Florida Tech last year. He's also the #1 ranked third baseman in the state of Florida, which is obviously known for baseball. It's quite the honor for him. That one gets to the backstop there. Fastball outside from Rao. Tried again to chase there. Not a bad idea from the southpaw. Wanted the ball to catch his eye, and for Nimala to load up the trigger there, but he lays off it. 1-2 count coming up. That one gets put past Nimala there, and that is going to be the first strikeout of the night for Rao. Nimala does not open his return fashion that he wanted to, as that one got right past him and he couldn't turn the barrel on it fast enough. Miguel Gonzalez will now waltz up to the plate here for the Lumberjacks. He's one of the highest batting averages on the team at a .301 mark. He also has a .353 on base percentage and a .366 slugging percentage. He had a 4-hit game against the Outlaws, the previous game against them on the road. So he has done really well against this team specifically. That was in the midst of Gonzalez's hot streak. He has cooled off considerably since then, and he will look to get back in his groove here as he pokes that one right into right center field for a single. Gonzalez gets it going quickly in the 9-hole spot for the Lumberjacks. Records a hit on Rao to open up the inning. Mason Resmondo will now step up, the bottom hole hitter for the Lumberjacks again, making one of his first appearances at second base tonight. He has been wanting to play that position for quite some time. That has been the place that he's called home for the majority of his career. But Jay Gonzalez likes putting him in right field, which has been where he has played the majority of this summer. But Gonzalez giving him a look at second base, especially given the fielding struggles that this team has had. And he was able to turn a nice double play earlier in this contest. That one gets put right down the plate. Quality pitch from Rao. Although Rao has given up some hits, he hasn't been helped out by his field in this game. And he has been finding the strike zone well. Has only one walk so far tonight. That one misses the zone. So 2-1 for Resmondo. And Resmondo, only one extra base hit, but quality contact guy. Only 13 strikeouts across 63 at-bats this season. Not a guy that you see strike out much. So he flares that one foul, so it'll even the count at 2. He did struggle against Amsterdam last night, where he racked up 2 strikeouts, but that was also a night where the Lumberjacks had 17 strikeouts, which was their season high. Previously was at 16, but a lot of the pitchers that Amsterdam had out on the mound last night were D1 guys, including guys that were reaching 94 miles per hour with their fastballs. But Mason Resmondo cuts right through that one as Rao gets his second strikeout of the inning. 2 outs with a man on first and Miguel Gonzalez. As the top of the order will now step up here. Andy Perez, again, only 1 steal away from tying the PGCBL record. If he gets on base, he'll most definitely tie that record. Almost always opts to steal second, and he puts that one high into the air. It's tracking into center field. Uehara steps back and makes a leaping grab at the warning track to mark the end of the inning. Andy Perez will have to wait for his next at-bat to give that record a try. And the Oneonta Outlaws hold on to their 1-run lead. Uehara makes a great play out there to track all the way back as that one was carrying on him. That'll mark the end of the second inning. The Oneonta Outlaws lineup will bring up Zach Porter, Cole Waterman, and Dane Richards after this. And we're back here in the top of the third. Sebastian Rivera will return onto the mound here. Was able to blank the Outlaws in the last inning despite giving up 3 in the first. Struggled with Ian Wirtz specifically, who launched that bases clearing double in the top of the first to put the Outlaws up early. Boonville Lumberjacks came roaring back with a 2-run bottom of the second, but the Outlaws still have a chance to build upon their lead with Rivera on the mound. He has walked 3 batters and also hit Kaz Uehara last inning, so hasn't been able to find the zone consistently. He does have those 3 strikeouts that he posted in the top of the first. Will he be able to return to that here? But he will first need to get past Zach Porter, who will waltz onto the plate. He was one of those walks in the top of the first. Had a hitter's count, and Sebastian Rivera put it away from him to walk him onto first. He was one of those runs that was plated in that inning as well. Look to get the Outlaws started on a high note here, but Rivera puts that one outside to open the count. Got away from him there. Again, has been hammering that outside part of the zone, but it's been hit or miss for the southpaw tonight. He winds and delivers that and puts it inside on Porter. 2-0 here. Porter is tracking toward recording another walk in this contest. Rivera cannot find the zone against him. And that one gets put right down the plate for strike one. And the Lumberjacks pitching has seen a recent dip, one of the top units in the league just a couple weeks ago. But their earned run average has slipped to 4.48, which now ranks 5th best in the PGCBL. At a time, they were the best team in that category. Their whip has also slid along with that, going all the way to 6th at a 1.54 mark. And that one gets put on the ground right there. Miguel Gonzalez is going to have to charge and get it. He fires it over to Nimala there, and that is going to be an out. Very nice scoop from Nimala, and great play from Gonzalez to charge out under that and fire it just in time to get Porter out. That is the fielding that you want to see from this Lumberjacks roster, and they get it done there. That was a very tricky play. That one landed in the shallow infield, but the Lumberjacks work well with it and get their first out of the inning. That'll bring up Cole Waterman to the plate. Struck out in his first at-bat. That was only his second strikeout of his short stint with the Outlaws. He puts that one high in the air there, but Triplett able to get under it for the second out of the inning. Swings on the first pitch, but that doesn't work out for him. 2 early outs for Rivera, who has settled in nicely during his first start, the Lumberjack uniform. And Dane Richards will now step up. He walked in his first at-bat of the night. Rivera to put it past him here as he puts that one low. It gets past Connor Larson behind the plate. 1-0 count coming up. On the other hand, the Outlaws boasted one of the least effective lineups in the PGCBL, rank bottom of the barrel in batting average and slugging percentage. Dane Richards puts that on the ground there. Angel Santiago steps up and fires it over to Akil Nimala at first. Great fielding from the Lumberjacks, who get out of this inning in 3 up, 3 down fashion. And Sebastian Rivera looking more and more composed on the mound as this game has gone on. We head into the bottom of the third. The Lumberjacks have another opportunity to tie or take the lead, with Chase Triplett, Angel Santiago, and Carter McKay representing the heart of the order coming up. We're back here in the bottom of the third, and Cole Waterman for the Oneonta Outlaws actually had a bit of a strikeout problem despite boasting a .316 batting average. That was his 10th strikeout earlier in this game. He only has 21 at-bats this season, so almost half of his at-bats have been strikeouts. But Chase Triplett will now step up to the plate for his second at-bat. He walked in the bottom of the first inning. He flares that one foul. But Chase Triplett looking to really have an impact in his second season at Seminole State College. He did get a good amount of playing time there last season, but he is looking to fill an increased role heading into his sophomore season at that school. And he also pitches, but again, we haven't seen Chase Triplett on the mound much. He flashed some visibility earlier in the season, but he has not become part of this pitching staff. He does deflect that one foul to stay alive there. Looked like Rao may have got him on an off-speed pitch, but he was able to just get a bit of that barrel on the ball there. Stays alive in the count. Just Triplett has done an excellent job of just battling. He's been one of the most gritty players for this Lumberjacks squad this season, and he continues to personify that at the plate. So really set the tone for this lineup. Again, he really is a quality pitcher as well. 87-mile-per-hour fastball, along with a healthy arsenal of off-speed and breaking pitches, with a curveball and changeup in the mid-70s. But he is listed more so as an outfielder. He's the 82nd ranked outfielder in the state of Florida. But he will walk on base here for his second walk of the night. And Angel Santiago will now step up to the plate. He drove home a run in his last at bat despite grounding out to third. But Rao, the second walk that he has committed tonight. With a blank count to Santiago, he puts that one high on him. Put it upstairs, but Angel Santiago wisely lays off it, likely not looking to swing at that first pitch anyway. Angel Santiago originally committed to Marshall University, but completed his freshman season at Northwest Florida State College. He's a Hialeah, Florida local, and is another top-ranked prospect on this squad, 21st ranked shortstop in Florida. And his 60-yard dash also clocks in at 6.89. He hasn't shown much speed this season on the base paths, but he really does have the raw athleticism to become an everyday shortstop in a higher level league, and he will draw a 4-pitch walk. So second straight walk for Rao on the mound. So runners will advance to first and second here with Carter McKay stepping up to the plate. He was able to cork a single in his first at-bat of the night, and he continues his hot streak. He's making his 16th straight appearance tonight, has become an everyday hitter in this lineup. He's gone 5 for 10, which is now 6 for 11 against Oneonta this season. He had 2 straight 3-hit games. He rides into this game on that hitting hot streak. He does have 21 strikeouts so far this season. He has had times where he has struck out at will and other times where he's just seeing the ball very well. Been a bit of a hit-or-miss hitter at the plate for the Lumberjacks, but there is a reason why Jay Gonzalez continues to go to him in that 4-hole spot. He's easily the most powerful hitter on this roster, and you can see that with his .527 slugging percentage, and that has really been driven by his 4 doubles, 2 triples, and 4 home runs. So watch out if Rao leaves a hanging pitch to him, as he will most definitely put that well over the right field fence. So blank count to McKay, who takes an inside ball to open it up. And again, fascinating story. Carter McKay actually used to play tight end in high school, and that is really what has contributed to his great speed for his size. He puts that one right on the ground between the second baseman and first baseman there, but Chase Triplett is going to be held up at third. So to load the bases here for the Lumberjacks, with 0 outs, and Jorge Oliveira coming to the plate, who will have the opportunity of a lifetime to put a dent in this lead or even take it. Jorge Oliveira had a single in his first at-bat, ended up reaching second on an error by Matthew Carrera in that same scenario, and that is put inside for a ball as Rao continues to struggle in the bottom of the third, walked 2 straight batters, and then forfeited a single right in that gap between the first baseman and second baseman. The last at bat, he gets Jorge Oliveira to swing early on that. He gets a piece of it, but even count, solid pitch from Rao to step back into the count. He has a 6.33 ERA this season. He has the most wins on anyone, out of anyone in this Oneonta pitching staff with 2, boasting a 2-2 record. As that one is fired right to Matthew Carrera, who turns it over to second, and that is going to be turned for 2. What an excellent exchange there between Carrera, Robinson, and Waterman. They made that play quickly, as that was a well-hit ball right to Carrera, who was able to field it. He had to take a quick step back on that, but quickly exchanged that into his throwing hand, fired it over to Zach Robinson at second, who then leaned away from first to make that throw to Waterman. Very athletic play from those 2 middle infield guys. And that is going to advance 1 runner home nevertheless, but still the Outlaws get 2 timely outs. And Angel Santiago still 90 feet away from home. Connor Larson will look to take the lead for the first time tonight. And he takes a high fastball there, or high breaking pitch, my apologies. So 1-1 count. Larson fouled off the first pitch of the at-bat. And with the 1-1 count and a man on third, Rao winds and delivers that, and he gets him to swing through that. Rao really utilizes that off-speed pitch well. You can see the noticeable velocity change between his fastball and that off-speed pitch. Really mixes up his pitches well on the mound, and he continues to show that here tonight. Has gotten multiple Boonville hitters out in front of pitches where they've made weak foul contact with the ball. But 2-2 count here, so still even. And Rao will have a payoff pitch to use at his disposal, looking to get his 3rd strikeout of the night. And he does have a left-handed hitter in the box. Look to use that outside leverage to punch Larson out. He winds and delivers that. Larson skies that into the air, got under it. Matthew Carrera trots out under it, and that'll mark the 3rd out of the inning. Rao works out of it. The Oneonta Outlaws able to turn a double play to get 2 outs and stop the bleeding here, but the Lumberjacks still tie the game off the Jorge Oliveira ground into double play. And that is going to bring up the Oneonta Outlaws lineup, who look to regain the lead. Ian Wirtz, Zach Robinson, and Lorenzo Camilleri will be due up for them. We'll be back with that. And we're back here in the top of the 4th between the Lumberjacks and the Outlaws. Lumberjacks able to tack on 1 run in the bottom of the 3rd to tie this game at 3 apiece. But the Oneonta Outlaws capable of exploding at any time. And Ian Wirtz, the batter that drove in those 3 runs in the top of the 1st, will step up. He recorded a double and then advanced on an error by Angel Santiago in that inning, and he corks that down the left field line there. That is going to fall into the left field gap. Chase Triplett relays that in, but Ian Wirtz is in with a stand-up double, his second of the night. He gets it started hot for the Outlaws, and it'll bring up Zach Robinson to the plate. Ian Wirtz has been the hitter that they've really relied on this game, and he continues his hot streak there. Got the barrel on the ball, and he's seeing those pitches from Rivera very well right now. Zach Robinson, who struck out in his first at-bat, will now step up, looking to bring him home. Rivera fits that right down the zone there for strike one. And Robinson, again, very speedy on the base paths. We haven't seen him on there yet because he did strike out in his first at-bat, but when he gets on base, watch out. He is their version of Andy Perez as a stealer, but he hasn't had many opportunities to do that. Only a .229 batting average. Hasn't hit the ball exceptionally well this season, but has done a very nice job of drawing walks. 15 on the season for the Outlaws, which is the third most on the team. Rivera fits that one right down the zone there. So 1-2 count, payoff pitch as he looks to punch out Robinson for the second time tonight. But Robinson again leads the team with 12 stolen bases. Oneonta Outlaws do not stray away from using their speed on the base paths. Have the 7th most stolen bases in the league. The Lumberjacks sit at 5th with 89. So both of these teams not afraid to try and nab extra bases. He winds it, delivers that, and puts it right on the outside there. So 3-2 count. Will Robinson be able to draw his 16th walk of the season here? Rivera will need to fit it into the zone and regain his location of it. Facing Robinson, he has gone away from him in these previous pitches. He winds and delivers that. Robinson skies that into the air. Jorge Oliveira tracking back into center. That ball is gone. That one tracked deep off the bat. It didn't look like it was going to reach that center field fence, but that just simply carried for the right-handed hitter, and that is going to mark his first home run of the season. Right to dead center field. He got all of that ball there, and that is going to plate 2 for the Oneonta Outlaws as they get their 5th home run of the season off the bat of Zach Robinson, showcasing that power there. Jorge Oliveira tracked back to attempt to grab it, but quickly realized that that ball was going to get over the fence there. Timely hitting from Robinson, and he puts the Oneonta Outlaws up 5-3 here. And that is a very clutch hit as well. He was able to drive that right into dead center with a full count. Had confidence in himself despite having that top of the first strikeout, and approached the at-bat as a fresh opportunity. Makes the most of it there. Lorenzo Camilleri will look to one-up that here at the plate. He reached on a walk in his last at-bat to Rivera. So 1-1 here. Able to even the count. He flares that one back. Another payoff pitch for Rivera. And the Lumberjacks have really struggled with allowing home runs this season. That is their 15th that they've allowed, which is the second most in the league. They do have the second most home runs in the league, but have also racked or allowed teams to really hit for power on them along with that. 2-2 count coming up against Rivera and Camilleri. And Rivera, opportunity to get his 4th strikeout. He hasn't recorded one since the top of the first inning. He's able to get through the heart of the Outlaws order in the top of the 3rd, and he gets that one past Camilleri there. Used that off-speed pitch and got him to swing well ahead of it on that one. first out of the inning for the Lumberjacks. Couldn't have came at a better time. Jaden Kennedy will now step up, grounded into a double play in his first at-bat in the top of the second. And again, he has yet to record a hit this season. He has only stepped up to the plate 9 times. This is his 10th plate appearance this season, and that is delivered for a ball to open up the count to Kennedy. Jaden Kennedy, junior at Hudson Valley Community College. Another one of these JUCO players that have played JUCO in New York on this Oneonta Outlaws roster. They have really filled their talent with a lot of JUCO guys. It goes to show that you don't have to go to a top-end D1 school to really stamp your impact in the baseball world. A lot of D1 guys actually start at the JUCO level and just work their way up and really build a name and brand for themselves at that level. And Jaden Kennedy will look to continue to do that. He hit .213 and had a .432 on-base percentage last season. He will record his first hit of the season there. That one gets right up the middle of the infield, and he will reach first. First time this season. So Jaden Kennedy, long time coming, but he finally gets it done for the Outlaws. Keeps this inning alive, and they are threatening with Owen Burnsworth now stepping up to the plate. Also recorded a single in his last at-bat. And then the top of the order will be due up for the Outlaws. Always threatening to have that come up. Want to really take advantage of a lot of the order guys. But if you have a deep lineup, the Oneonta Outlaws have had at times this season, then you can really rely on everyone in your lineup to make a difference. And the additions of guys like Owen Burnsworth, Cole Waterman have really added to the depth of this roster, and that has really driven why they've been playing better as of recent. Again, are riding a hot streak heading into this game, and that is showing tonight at the plate. They've racked up 5 runs already, and the Lumberjacks haven't even gotten through the top of the 4th yet. But Rivera will have an opportunity to punch out Burnsworth here. Payoff pitch coming up. And that one gets delivered there, and that is not going to be called. So 2-2 count. Runner still on first base, and Jaden Kennedy. Owen Burnsworth still at the plate. And Burnsworth is a rising junior at RPI, where he hit .207 along with a .281 on-base percentage and .310 slugging percentage his last collegiate season. He had a home run that season as well, but he cuts right through that pitch. Rivera able to record his 5th strikeout of the night against Burnsworth to get the 2nd out of the inning here. And that is going to bring up Kaz Uehara and the top of this order for the Outlaws, with Jaden Kennedy still on first here. And Rivera winds and delivers that and puts that one low there. That one cut down into that lower part of the zone, but just gets a little too low for Rivera there. Uehara struck out in his first at-bat and then reached first on a hit-by pitch, but that is going to be fired too. Angel Santiago, who flips it over to Mason Resmondo to get out Jaden Kennedy before he can reach second, and that'll mark the end of the top of the 4th, but not before Zach Robinson sends a blast dead center to put the Oneonta Outlaws up 5-3 on a ball that really carried on Jorge Oliveira out in center field. The Lumberjacks lineup will have an opportunity to counter coming up. And we're back here in the bottom of the fourth. Lumberjacks, 2-run deficit that they need to work back from. Erwin Cabasa, Akil Nimala, and Miguel Gonzalez due up, representing the bottom of the order here for the Lumberjacks. Erwin Cabasa grounded out to third in his first at-bat of the night. But nevertheless, he's had one hit, at least one hit in his last 4 games. He went 2 for 4 with 1 RBI in his only performance against the Oneonta Outlaws this season. He does foul 1 on the first pitch, so quick 0-1 count here. Rao returns to the mound here looking to blank the Lumberjacks. Erwin Cabasa gets well under that. That is tracking foul. It's going to hit the top of the Boonville dugout. Lucky that they have that overhang on it. So 2 straight foul balls here for Cabasa. Seeing the ball well, just hasn't been able to time it up perfectly and put it into play. Again, Erwin Cabasa coming over from the Strasburg Express of the Valley Collegiate Baseball League, where he boasted a .294 batting average there. They're actually currently ranked one of the top teams in the standings in that league, but Jay Gonzalez gave him a call, and he packed his bags to come up to Boonville, New York to play with this Lumberjacks squad. And again, he has been more than welcome addition for them. Made a sliding grab out in right field earlier in this contest, and he puts that one well into play. That is tracking in the left center field gap, and that is going to get past Kaz Uehara out there. Erwin Cabasa rounds for second base, and he's in with a stand-up double there. That one ate Uehara up. He attempted to jump up and grab that ball, read it relatively well, but that was coming in hot into that left center field gap, and that is going to land Erwin Cabasa his second double, my apologies, of the season. Great hitting there, and he really showcased his gap-to-gap power on that one. Akil Nimala, who struck out in his first at-bat, will now step up to the plate, looking to bring Cabasa home and cut into this lead. That one is delivered for a ball there. Nimala wisely lays off it there. And again, Nimala has a brother, Arjun Nimala, who's selected the first round of the 2023 MLB draft. He's currently in the Toronto Blue Jays farm system. Very interesting story. Akil really looks up to his brother and has built a close connection to them, and he's even looking to build upon his brother's success by eventually getting drafted to the MLB himself. He is looking to start that process. He is, again, one of the highest ranked recruits in Florida, which has some weight to the accolade. And he takes 3 straight balls, go up 3-0 in this count. And Nimala, he only has 4 walks this season compared to 18 strikeouts, but he could get his 5th right now. That one gets put low in the zone there for strike 1 to Nimala. Thought that was a walk, started walking toward the first base bag, but will need to trot back into the left batter's box to give Rao another go. And Rao able to work through Nimala very efficiently in the last at-bat, striking him out for his 19th strikeout of the season. So 3-1 delivery hitters count coming up. Nimala flares that one back there. Got a good piece of that, but still full count to the right-handed hitter. We've yet to see much power from Nimala. Only 2 doubles this season, which represent his only extra base hits. He's a very physical frame, very well-built individual. His scouting report says that he has significant gap-to-gap power. Just haven't seen that much from him this season. Again, he has struggled at the plate. 242 batting average and just a 274 slugging percentage with only 5 RBIs. He still has 5 games to change the narrative on the season here. And Jay Gonzalez really looking for him to break out and spearhead the Lumberjacks' charge back into the playoffs. Rao looks back at Cabasa at second, fires that for a ball. Nimala earns a well-deserved walk there. His 5th of the season. And that is going to bring runners on first and second for the Lumberjacks with Miguel Gonzalez coming up to the plate. He had a single in his first at-bat of the night. Wasn't able to work much with that because Mason Rismondo and Andy Perez struck out and flew out respectively after he landed that single, but he will have an opportunity here to do some damage. That gets put right to Carrera there, who fires it over to third for the force out, gets the lead runner there. Miguel Gonzalez will advance, so will Nimala. But nice play there from Carrera to realize that it was the smart play to get the lead runner out, and he made the easy throw to Jaden Kennedy out there at third to get the first out of the inning. Mason Rismondo, again struck out in his first at-bat, will now step up to the plate. Runners on first and second base with one out. That one gets put past Porter there and will advance both runners into scoring position there. A wild pitch from Rao. And Mason Rismondo with a golden opportunity to drive both of them home. Limited opportunity for a double play scenario now, so that could have some serious repercussions for this Oneonta Outlaws roster. They still maintain their 2-run lead, but that could change with just one hit. And the top of the Boonville order is coming up right after Rismondo. Rao puts that down just a bit low and outside for ball 2. Good idea there from the southpaw, looking to pitch away from the right-handed Mason Rismondo. But that one just slipped out of the zone. And he winds and delivers that. Gets Mason Rismondo to swing through that high fastball. He put it upstairs, and that ended up working out for the southpaw, as Mason Rismondo was not able to hold off it. So 2-1 count for Rao. Winds and delivers that. Rismondo flares that foul, and that is tracking well past the fence. 2-2 here for Rismondo. Didn't play in his first season at Seminole State College, but is going into his sophomore season where he is again looking to take on an increased role with that squad. He's a Winter Haven, Florida local. A very short and direct swing that allows him to make quality contact. He takes a ball inside there. Rao did not like that call. Thought it clipped the chalk there, but the umpire does not give him the call. So full count for Rismondo at the plate. And again, Mason Rismondo really does have a line drive approach that allows him to get hits. Very good contact guy for the Lumberjacks. And Rao puts that outside. Second walk of the inning for the southpaw. And now the real threatening part of this order will step up with Andy Perez now waltzing up. Andy Perez has gone 1 for 2 tonight with a flyout and a single. He is a bases loaded situation. Andy Perez hit a grand slam earlier this season. I believe it was 2 actually. And he is tied for the most home runs on the team with 4 on the season. He's also driven in 18 RBIs, so has excelled in these positions where he can drive runners home. He will look to do that here, but that'll mark the end of Rao's night after he records 2 walks in the bottom of the 4th. Able to hold the Lumberjacks to just 3 runs in 3 2/3 innings pitched. And that is going to bring up Alex Burciaga, formidable relief pitcher for the Oneonta Outlaws, who will relieve Rao early. And that is going to mark the end of his appearance and outing. And we'll be back with Alex Burciaga stepping on the mound, looking to shut things down in a jam here. we're back here in the bottom of the fourth. Alex Burciaga looking to work out of a jam here. Bases loaded with Andy Perez, the leadoff hitter for the Lumberjacks, stepping up to the plate. Burciaga recently had a very quality performance against the Mohawks, which drove the Outlaws 3-2 win against them. Pitched 4 complete innings, allowing just 2 hits and 0 earned runs. He also had a scoreless outing earlier in the season against the Lumberjacks, but also posted another loss against them where he allowed 2 runs in 1 inning pitched. It was their 7-5 loss on July 2nd. But he has gotten better as the season has gone on for the Outlaws. And he will look to step into this situation very and high pressure with the lead and with the Lumberjacks threatening. Best part of their order coming up too. Burciaga will have a uphill battle to work through here. He has an even count to Andy Perez right now. He will need to be very careful with how he approaches Andy Perez. Despite his contact ability, he also has a significant amount of power in that bat, and you do not want to give him a chance to knock one out of the park with the bases loaded. And that one gets put well outside. So you can see Burciaga's approach to Andy Perez is to pitch it away from him, not a completely foolish approach, because Andy Perez can really do some damage to that ball if it hangs over the plate. But again, Andy Perez been in a little bit of a slump recently, and this would be a perfect way to break out of it here in one of the most pivotal scenarios in this game thus far. But Andy Perez has the team lead in hits with 36 on the season. And he puts that one into play there. It gets into the shallow infield. Matthew Carrera able to get that one there, and he fires it over to Cole Waterman to get the double play. Alex Burciaga does exactly what he needs to do. Gets Andy Perez to roll over on a ball there, and that one gets placed right next to the second base bag. One of the worst positions where you can ground a ball to, especially in a force-out situation. And Matthew Carrera reads that play very well, allows the ball to get to him when he's right next to the second base bag, simply touches it and fires it to first to get the speedy Andy Perez out. Very smart fielding from the Outlaws there, and that is going to allow them to maintain their 2-run lead heading into the top of the 5th, where they will look to build on that with Matthew Carrera, Zach Porter, and Cole Waterman stepping up to the plate. We will be back with that. And Matthew Carrera will now step up to the plate in the top of the 5th, looking to add some insurance runs to this Outlaws lead against the Lumberjacks. Sebastian Rivera will trot onto the mound, looking to get through his 5th inning of the night. Don't see anybody warming up in the bullpen for the Lumberjacks yet, so Jay Gonzalez looking to rely on Rivera to get through some deep innings in this game, and he delivers an off-speed strike there to open the count to Carrera. Carrera, he has an 0 for 2 tonight. Reached on an error in the top of the 1st, then flew out to right. It was a sliding grab that Erwin Cabasa took away from him in the top of the 2nd. But Carrera, has honestly struggled at the plate as well this season. 228 average with just a 253 slugging percentage. Only 2 extra base hits, and both of those being doubles on the season. And that one gets put outside there, making the count 1-2 to Carrera. And Carrera, again, Hudson Valley Community College player. He's a very patient approach at the plate. And he's an extremely strong fielder specifically, which we have seen on display tonight. He has become the Oneonta Outlaws everyday shortstop, very similar to what Angel Santiago represents for the Boonville Lumberjacks. And he has locked down that position well. You really need a quality shortstop to anchor around, and that is going to get fouled off there to keep him alive in the count. So 2-2 to Carrera at the plate. It seemed like it went off him there. Will shake his legs out a little bit to loosen himself up, coming into this payoff situation with Sebastian Rivera looking to get his 6th strikeout of the night. Has had significant strikeout production in his first start of the season, and that one gets put just outside and will make the count full. He had 1 pitch to throw away, and he used that up there. Carrera wisely lays off that. Carrera does have 20 strikeouts on the season. He is one of 5 players to reach the 20 strikeout mark for the Outlaws. They have struggled to put the ball in play at times, but he does get a piece of that right to opposite field and foul. Still a 3-2 count for the right-handed hitter. It stands another chance against Rivera. Rivera quickly sets, winds, and delivers here. He flares back another one. So 2nd straight foul ball for Carrera, really battling in the batter's box. And as we've seen Sebastian Rivera's pitch count climb, Carrera could be having an invaluable at-bat to get Rivera quickly out of this game. And that one gets put just high there. Rivera did not like that call, but he is going to walk Carrera on to first to open the inning here. That is his 4th walk of the night. Sebastian Rivera, again, had trouble locating the zone at times in this game. Zach Porter will now step up to the plate. The 3-hole spot. He had a walk earlier in this game. Flares that one foul. Was a bit behind on that fastball from Rivera. Zach Porter, another player at Wofford. He's a rising sophomore there, coming all the way from Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is famous for the Chattanooga choo-choo train. Ton of family that went there. It's just a bit north of Georgia in that part of Tennessee, and it is a very common tourist destination simply because of the train there. Never been, but it seems like a very cool spot to experience. But he had a .333 batting average with 3 RBIs last season. He's the number 4th ranked catcher in the state of Tennessee and number 171st ranked nationally at that position. And he, again, is starting at catcher tonight. Both him and Ian Wirtz occupy that position. Both of them are occupying spots in the lineup. Rivera repeatedly checking on Carrera at first. Another one of the speedier Oneonta Outlaws on this roster. He has 8 stolen bases on the season thus far. And Carrera has really been on fire. 5 multi-hit games in his last 8 games that he's played. That has also driven the Oneonta Outlaws' recent success and surge. Again, they don't have much to play for, so when you're playing with low stakes, it's always easier to play more loose in there. Most definitely playing more loose than the Lumberjacks tonight, letting the ball come to them and really not being stagnant in the field and in the batter's box. The Lumberjacks have a lot riding on this game. This is honestly a must-win game for them. They cannot afford to lose it. And that is going to get Zach Porter out there as he whips right through that. Was well early on that pitch from Rivera. He was expecting a fastball, but he switched it up with an off-speed pitch to get him out well ahead. And it'll bring up Cole Waterman to the plate with a runner still on first. Waterman has gone 0 for 2 tonight, struck out and flew out to left field. Has been a bit behind on Rivera's pitches, and he has specifically struggled against southpaws. As a left-handed hitter, it poses different type of challenge in the batter's box when you have a pitcher that can hammer outside leverage part of the zone. And Rivera has been pitching away from Waterman, knowing that he has a ton of power. And Rivera gets him to foul that one off there, so it'll even the count at 1 apiece. For Waterman, it's really a matter of making quality contact with the ball. That 104.0 mile per hour exit velocity is really what drives his production. And when he gets a good piece of a ball, can really fly, especially in a hitter's park like Hanson Aggregates Field, which does have fences that are closer in. You can see the right field fence is listed at 320 and the left field fence is listed at 330. Dead center is only listed at 365. Saw the first dead center home run of the year earlier in this game at Hanson Aggregates Field off the bat of Zachary Robinson. And could Cole Waterman add another home run? Hanson Aggregates Field has been the field that has sustained the most home runs this season, and is likely why. Cole Waterman fouls that one off. Again, bit ahead on that. So Rivera really using his arsenal of pitches to work past Waterman here, and he will look to get his second strikeout against him tonight. Even count to Waterman. With a man still on first and Matthew Carrera, who has not opted to steal yet. That could be coming up. Rivera looks back at him, and Waterman reaches out his hands. That one fooled him, but he will live to fight another day in the batter's box. You can see he was fooled by that pitch, thought it was going to be a fastball, but was well early on and was just able to poke his bat out far enough to get a piece of the ball to stay alive. Oneonta Outlaws having some quality at-bats in this inning, and that one gets put right down the inside part of the zone for strike 3. That is Rivera's 6th strikeout of the night. My apologies, 7th strikeout of the night, and 2nd against Waterman as the umpire rings him up. Dane Richards will now step to the plate. The 5-hole spot for the Outlaws. 2 outs. Matthew Carrera still on first base. Dane Richards has reached on a walk and grounded out to Angel Santiago in his previous 2 at-bats. He takes a first pitch ball to open the count. And again, Dane Richards, leadoff home run in the Lumberjacks' last home game against the Outlaws, where he's able to take one the deep left field off starting pitcher Peyton Holcoulter. He cuts right through that one there. So 1-1 count to Macomb, Michigan local. And Dane Richards, along with that 1 home run, he's also recorded 4 doubles on the season and 30 hits. And he's going to attempt to steal it back. Connor Larson fires it down, but he's able to slide in safely. Matthew Carrera able to get to that bag just in time. Connor Larson popped up nicely, but the throw was a little bit inaccurate and not where in a spot where Mason Rismondo can make a clean tag. And that is going to represent Matthew Carrera's first steal of the night. Dane Richards will now have a runner in scoring position to work with here. 1-1 count. 2 outs. Look to do some damage. Has yet to record a hit tonight. That could change just like that. Dane Richards, 2nd most hits on the team. Kerr's going to attempt to steal that back. Connor Larson does not diagnose that early enough. So 2 straight steals for Carrera, and now he's only 90 feet away from home. That is his 10th steal of the season. So 2-1 count here, and that is put right to Erwin Cabasa in right field. He attempts to make another sliding grab out there. What is the call going to be? And he does make his 2nd sliding grab of the night. That is a no-fly zone out there in right field. Able to corral that with his mitt, and another SportsCenter top 10 play from the right fielder there. It'll mark the end of the inning. The Oneonta Outlaws unable to tack on any more insurance runs. That'll bring up the Lumberjacks lineup with Chase Triplett, Angel Santiago, and Carter McKay, sending the 3 sluggers. They will step up in the bottom of the 5th, looking to cut into this lead. We will be back with that. And we're back here in the bottom of the 5th. Chase Triplett will trot out to the batter's box to open the inning for the Boonville Lumberjacks, looking to get things started for the squad. Reached on a walk in his first 2 at-bats, so being very disciplined at the plate. The left-handed hitter has now drawn 18 walks on the season, which is the second most on the team, sitting behind Angel Santiago, who has drawn 26. He gets it started by taking another ball low and in against Burciaga on the mound. Burciaga winds and delivers that. Puts it low again. Triplett is not giving him anything. Staying very disciplined, calm, and composed in that batter's box. The 2-0 count. Burciaga puts that one inside again. So the 3-0 count. Can Triplett get his 19th walk of the season here? We shall see. But he does have a 3-0 count to work with. Burciaga delivers that down the plate for strike 1. Gets a necessary strike to make it a hitter's count for Triplett. Again, is not a guy you want to have a hitter's count against, as he cuts right through that pitch. Full count coming up for Triplett. Burciaga looks to get his first strikeout of the night. Perfectly worked out of that bases loaded jam last inning. And he gets that to cut right down the zone. Chase Triplett was fooled by that one. He immediately started trotting over to first base, but didn't realize that that breaking pitch had cut far in enough to get inside the chalk, and that is Burciaga's first strikeout of the night on a nasty breaking pitch. Angel Santiago will now step up to the batter's box, looking to avenge Chase Triplett. That one gets put low there. He went back to that breaking pitch, but that one way more low than the last one. And Burciaga, currently a junior at SUNY Cobleskill, he's a West Ispip, New York local, boasting a 83-mile-per-hour fastball and a very quality curveball to complement his heater. He had a 12.91 ERA in his college last season across 15 1/3 innings pitched, and that one gets delivered for a strike. So second straight at-bat where Burciaga has delivered 3 straight balls, but able to fit it in for the first pitch strike. Will he be able to work out of it again? And Angel Santiago puts it on the ground. Matthew Carrera sprints out under it, but he's unable to corral it, and that is going to be the first error of the night, or second error of the night for Matthew Carrera, and that should have been a routine ground ball there for Carrera, and he is unable to make that play. He's been excellent in the field so far tonight, but that one slipped away from him. Realized that he had to make up some ground with Santiago charging in to first, and he's unable to have a clean exchange there. Carter McKay skies that, and he's going to be tracking into foul territory. So quick 0-1 count to the left-handed slugger. And Carter McKay has quickly developed into one of the best hitters on this Lumberjacks squad. 308 batting average and a 400 on-base percentage this season, along with 19 RBIs, 10 extra base hits. And when he arrives at a scene, he really arrives in force. He's had multiple 3-hit games this season, and even more multi-hit games to go along with that. He really thrives off momentum in the batter's box, and he has plenty of momentum heading into this game. He's already recorded back-to-back singles to open up his performance tonight, as he takes a ball to even the count at 1 apiece, with Angel Santiago on first. He reached on an error from Matthew Carrera, so 1-1 count, 1 out. Burciaga peeks back at Santiago, winds and delivers that, and puts it off the plate to McKay. Oneonta Ellis have done their homework on the Arlington, Tennessee local. They are pitching away from him. Saw that he was able to get those 2 singles to his pull side. Don't want him to replicate that. He cuts right through that pitch. Burciaga goes back to that curveball and gets McKay to cut right through it. That one fooled him, and it'll even the count at 2 apiece. Carter McKay will look to prevent himself from recording his first strikeout of the night. Burciaga will have a payoff pitch to potentially record his second of the night. He winds and delivers that. McKay flares that in the middle of the infield. That one is put to Zachary Robinson, but he's unable to make a tag on Angel Santiago. He tried to turn a nifty double play there, but it backfires on him, and that is going to advance both Angel Santiago and Carter McKay to first and second base. Costly mistake there from Robinson. Should have realized that Santiago was already well on his way to reaching second and just gotten Carter McKay out at first. He had time to make that throw. But runners will be on first and second base with Jorge Oliveira now stepping up to the plate. He grounded into a double play in his last at-bat. He'll look to prevent that from happening here. That started to mark the end of an inning where the Lumberjacks had a bases loaded situation and could have really taken the lead with force, but that double play quelled any momentum that the Lumberjacks had in that inning, and he cuts right through Burciaga's curveball there, so even count at 1 apiece. Burciaga will look to do some more damage to Oliveira. He scoots that one right on the inside, but that is not going to be called for a strike there. 2-1 count. And Burciaga is 12 strikeouts on the season. Sorry, 18, my apologies. And that gets delivered for a ball there. So hitters count to Oliveira. Runners still on first and second base. And what really drives Burciaga's production is his ability to get runners to roll over on pitches, but that one gets away from him there, and he'll walk the bases loaded, with Connor Larson now stepping up to the plate, who flew out and fouled out in his previous 2 at-bats. But he was almost the hero of the Lumberjacks game against the Sartee Stallions, where he was placed in a similar position in a much-needed scenario with down to his last strike and last out as well. Connor Larson able to hit a ball that Sartee's second baseman couldn't corral cleanly, and that ended up costing them 2 runs. Connor Larson built for big moments at the plate. Can he deliver here again? He is a rising sophomore at Century College in Minnesota. He absolutely raked there last season. .327 batting average, along with a .596 slugging percentage, along with 13 home runs. But he gets well under that. Very similar swing to what we've seen from Larson in this game, and that is a weak foul out. And wasted opportunity for the Lumberjacks to tack on some runs with 1 out. They will be down to their last one with Erwin Cabasa now stepping up to the plate. And Larson needs to be smarter in that situation. Can't swing on the first pitch and make weak contact like that. You really have to like what you see. And Erwin Cabasa replicates that to a T, but that is going to track into foul territory. Got lucky there. But again, that Burciaga curveball, very hard to make clean contact on. The Lumberjacks are seeing it relatively well, but are just not barreling it up. And that is what has driven Burciaga's production this year, has been his curveball and his ability to generate foul outs and ground outs along with that. His K per 9 inning is only in the 7s. Doesn't achieve most of his pitching production from striking players out, but he is prolific at getting his field to do the work for him, and that is one of a pitcher's strongest attributes, is their ability to generate weak contact, and Burciaga has done that this season. So even count here to Cabasa. That one gets fired outside there. Can Erwin Cabasa take advantage of the bases loaded situation, which the Lumberjacks had earlier in this game, just weren't able to take full advantage of it? And Burciaga gets him to make weak contact on that one. It's a dribbler right to Waterman there. He flips it over to Burciaga, and the Lumberjacks waste another bases loaded opportunity here as we head into the top of the 6th with the middle of the order for the Oneonta Outlaws stepping up. Ian Wirtz, Zach Robinson, both players that have recorded 3 extra base hits combined tonight, along with Lorenzo Camilleri, will be due up in the top of the 6th. We will be back with that. And we're back here in the top of the 6th. That'll mark the end of Sebastian Rivera's night on the mound. Colin Schneider will step in to relieve the starting pitcher here. And he will attempt to get through his 3rd inning of the season. He has struggled early throughout his season with the Lumberjacks. He has a 13.50 ERA across just 2 innings pitched, where he has allowed 2 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned runs, and 5 walks. Again, has struggled to locate the zone consistently. That is what has caused his whip to balloon to 3.50 on the season. He will look to flip the script here tonight against the Oneonta Outlaws batting order, but he will have an uphill battle to face here with Ian Wirtz now stepping up to the plate. He has doubled in his last 2 at-bats, driving in 3 runs. He was also plated on a run off the Zachary Robinson home run in the top of the 4th. He will look to get things started again here for the Outlaws, and that one gets delivered for a ball to open the count to Wirtz. And Wirtz, sophomore at Lehigh University, at a 182 batting average with 11 RBIs and 3 extra base hits his last collegiate season. He's originally from the state of Connecticut. He's the number 6th ranked catcher in that state and number 59th overall there too. He's the extra hitter tonight, but again, has had significant reps behind the plate this season. And Colin Schneider, 2-1 count here. He will look to work back in it. Now gets put off the plate again there. He will look to prevent himself from recording his 6th walk of the season. You have to wonder if it is a lack of confidence issue as well. And Ian Wirtz fires that right past Miguel Gonzalez there. That one had some serious velocity off his barrel. That'll wind up only being a single for him. So ends the streak of doubles tonight, but nevertheless, he's recorded 3 straight hits in this contest. Very quality piece of hitting in a hitter's count situation for the right-handed hitter, and he gets the Oneonta Outlaws started on a high note in the top of the 6th. That'll bring up Zach Robinson, who launched a home run to dead center in his last at-bat. Colin Schneider attempted to scoot that right down the inside part of the plate, but that is not going to land him a strike. So 1-0 count to the right-handed hitter here with Ian Wirtz on first. And Schneider delivers that just inside there. Larson attempted to frame that up nicely, but it didn't get the call from the umpire. And Colin Schneider, he's a rising sophomore that is currently committed to Davis and Elkins University. That one gets flared down the third baseline. So 2-1 count. But he previously played at Mohawk Valley Community College. He's from Utica, New York. He posted a 2-1 record along with a 1.62 whip and 1 save. 21 2/3 innings pitched during his first collegiate season there. One of 3 New York locals on this Boonville Lumberjacks roster. He fires that back to keep Ian Wirtz in check. And he has a very interesting approach with how he gets downhill on the mound. He kicks his leg out laterally and then goes downhill with it to initiate his delivery. Bit unique. And Connor Larson pops up trying to get Ian Wirtz on a steal, but he is going to be called safe there. Great throw from the catcher, but they timed that up perfectly because that was an off-speed pitch from Schneider, and that allowed Ian Wirtz to get that split second of extra time to slide in safely to second. And you can see how the Oneonta Outlaws relying on their speed to stamp their impact on this game. So runner in scoring position with 0 outs, and Schneider is going to walk his 6th batter of the season. Robinson able to get on first, bringing up Lorenzo Camilleri to the plate. And Camilleri struck out in his last at bat, but reached on a walk in his first, which was in the top of the 2nd inning. And Schneider has quickly worked himself into a jam in his first inning of his outing, and he delivers that one right for a strike on the outside part of the plate in a spot where Camilleri could not get the barrel on it. 0-1 count to Schneider. He winds and delivers that. Puts it outside again, so very adamant about pitching away to Camilleri. The mound, he has recorded a home run this season, as I mentioned before. Again, in a hitter's park like Hanson Aggregates Field, any ball can track past the fence. He gets a good piece of that, nails it foul, but Schneider will have a payoff pitch coming up, looking to get his first strikeout of the outing, along with his 2nd of the season. He has only recorded 1 in the 2 innings that we've seen him this season, but still 1-2 count. Runners on first and second base. Schneider delivers that into the dirt, and that gets past Larson on that and will advance both runners off a wild pitch. So Schneider loses control of that ball there, and 2 runners will now advance into scoring position. A 2-2 count to Camilleri. And that one simply bounced right up on Larson there. Almost didn't even reach the dirt on that. Let go of that fastball well too late. Schneider winds and delivers that, and that gets put in the dirt for the 2nd time. Make the count full. So 3-2 count. It's all full for Camilleri. We'll also look to end season slump with 1 swing of his at-bat. And that gets put right on the inside part of the zone for strike 3. Schneider's 2nd of the season there. Dotted it up perfectly on the chalk. And that is going to be represent the first out of the inning. Schneider will continue to work out of this jam that he's built for himself. Bring up Jaden Kennedy to the plate. The top of the 6th. Kennedy able to land a single in his last at-bat. Is then called out on a fielder's choice on the base paths, and that gets fired low there. Tried to go back to his off-speed pitch, and see Schneider isn't displaying much control with his mix of pitches. Have seen him miss on the fastball and on his breaking arsenal as well tonight. He will need to find that and have more confidence on the mound. It all starts with confidence in your ability to locate the zone, and Schneider needs to regain that here. You have to wonder if his past performances have rattled him and dented his confidence this season. It can be hard to adjust to new environments, especially in summer ball when the season is so short. But he will need to regain that confidence that we know he has. And that gets delivered for a ball. So quick 3-0 count to Kennedy. Potential to walk the bases loaded here. Kennedy has yet to record a walk this season. This could be his first coming up. Schneider puts it high in the zone there for strike one. Nearly strayed out of it, but that'll bring up a hitter's count to Kennedy. Recorded his first hit in his last at-bat of the season. Schneider with the hitter's count delivery. Kennedy nails that into center field, but Oliveira able to get under it, but that'll bring Wirtz charging to the plate. Oneonta goes up 6-3 off the sac fly from Kennedy. Great situational hitting from the Outlaws there. And that is going to bring up their bottom order guy in Owen Burnsworth. Struck out in his last at-bat. So 6-3 lead now for the Outlaws. Schneider delivers that right down the plate, but that gets past Larson there and will advance Zach Robinson to third, 90 feet away from home. Looked like that breaking pitch may have crossed his eyes up a bit and just let his eyes track away from the ball, but still 0-1 count to Burnsworth. Struck out 7 times on the season in just 16 at-bats. So despite a lot of these newcomers having solid impacts on this Oneonta Outlaws end-of-season run, they have struck out at high clips. And Schneider winds and delivers that, puts it on the ground right up the middle there. Angel Santiago dives out to get it, and he's unable to relay a throw there. What an effort there from the shortstop, but that is going to play another run for the Oneonta Outlaws, who now go up 7-3 off the single from Burnsworth. He's able to drive home Zachary Robinson there. And that is going to bring up the top of the order here for the Outlaws in Kaz Uehara. He's gone 0 for 2 tonight, struck out and had a fielder's choice to end the top of the fourth. And that one gets delivered on the outside part of the strike zone for strike one. And Uehara, interestingly enough, his father used to play in the MLB. Koji Uehara was an all-star at the major league level. Uehara is looking to reach the same level of competition that his dad once did. And that gets delivered for a strike there, so 0-2 count. Kazu Uehara will look to prevent himself from recording his second strikeout tonight. Schneider winds and delivers that, but that is flared foul there. Burnsworth attempted to steal that bag, but it's going to be rendered obsolete off the foul ball from Kaz Uehara. Uehara struck out 15 times this season, but has also drawn 11 walks. It's really propelled his on-base percentage to swell all the way to .441 on the season, so it's still payoff pitch coming up for Schneider. Look to stop the bleeding and get out of the inning, and that one gets delivered low there. Throw away pitch from the right-hander. Larson does a nice job of stopping that one. And again, that fielding blunder from Larson really allowed the Oneonta Outlaws to have their latest run, as Uehara does an excellent job of staying patient in the batter's box and drives that between Santiago and Gonzalez at shortstop and third base in that infield gap to get his first hit of the night. So runners will now be on first and second for the Outlaws. They will look to muster a 2-out rally here with Matthew Carrera now stepping up, and that one gets fired well inside to open it up. And Carrera has gone 1 for 2 tonight, reached on an error, flew out, and reached on a walk in the top of the fifth. Schneider puts that high and in. Carrera had to evade that one. That one tracked way up toward his helmet. So 2-0 count. Carrera again staying disciplined in the box. Schneider delivers that and it's flared foul. A little bit late on that fastball there. But still some wiggle room to work with for the right-handed hitter. So with the 2-1 count, Schneider winds to delivers, and it's going to be an attempted double steal, and that is executed perfectly for the Oneonta Outlaws, who get their 5th and 6th steals of the night. Have seen them pull off a double steal in previous games here at Hanson Aggregates Field, and they performed that perfectly there, but that is going to be called for a strike. Carrera thought that was a surefire ball 4, flips his bat to the dugout, but he'll have to trot back to face Schneider in a full count. He will 2 runners in scoring position and will look to add more insurance runs to this lead. 3-2 count. Schneider delivers that, and that gets flared foul. Was well late on it. Schneider had him beat, but swings the bat at the last minute to flare that one foul. That's how you know when you're seeing the ball well, is when even when you get fooled, you're still able to make contact with it. That was a desperate swing there from Carrera, and he's able to get his hands out on it just in time. So still with the full count delivery, that one tracks well inside and will walk Carrera on to first. Another bases loaded situation with the 3-hole hitter, Zach Porter, now stepping up to the plate. And again, the Oneonta Outlaws showcasing they've just been simply a different team in this last week. And they've played the Lumberjacks very tight as well this season. Out of their 5 losses to them, 3 have been by 2 runs or less. And they're really breaking through in this contest. So they have increased their lead to 4 with a 2-run top of the 6th. But during that stretch for the Outlaws between June 22nd, and that one is going to be flared into right field, and Erwin Cabasa makes another diving grab out there, his 3rd of the night, and that was going to most definitely play 2 more runs for the Outlaws. Erwin Cabasa has prohibited the Outlaws from gaining 4 runs simply his presence in right field, and he displays his athleticism out there yet again. It just gets under that ball in the nick of time. You have to wonder if Jay Gonzalez is going to make him the permanent right fielder after his performance tonight. That is his 3rd highlight reel play in this contest, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Erwin Cabasa stops the bleeding. The Lumberjacks still have to deal with a 4-run deficit, which they will need to start cutting into in the bottom of the 6th. And Akil Nimala, Miguel Gonzalez, Mason Rosmondo, the bottom 3 hitters of the lineup, will be due up looking to kickstart something big in this comeback bid. We'll be right back with that.
We also have the winner.
We're back here in the bottom of the 6th. Lumberjacks running out of time to cut into this lead. Oneonta Outlaws tack on 2 in the top of the 6th to go up 7-3 in this contest. Akil Nimala will now step up to the plate for Boonville. He walked in his last at-bat, but was stranded on base in that inning. Stranded due to a ground into double play from Andy Perez. He does take a first pitch strike to open the count here. 0-1 to the powerful right-handed hitter. He delivers that one for a ball there, so evens the count at 1. Burciaga back on the mound here for the Outlaws, looking to get through a decent chunk of the middle half of this game, relieving Zach Rao, who made the start. And Niemela cuts through that low pitch, 1-2 count. Burciago looked to punch Niemela out to cement his second strikeout tonight. Works quickly in the delivery, and he gets him to cut right through that. Niemela well early on that pitch. That's going to mark the first out of the inning here. Niemela continues to struggle in the batter's box. Miguel Gonzalez will now waltz up to the plate. Reached on a single in his first at-bat, but then, of course, a fielder's choice in his second. Burciago delivers that just outside there. Went to that curveball again. Opened Miguel Gonzalez up with that. Kind of want to intimidate batters. It's all about a mind game between the pitcher and the batter. But Miguel Gonzalez flares that right to Zachary Robinson. Makes a quality play. And that is a routine ground ball for the Oneonta Outlaws. Able to get their second of the inning. Miguel Gonzalez a little bit behind on that. He makes weak contact with the ball. It's a dribbler right to Robinson. And that'll bring up Mason Resmondo in the 10-hole spot for the Lumberjacks. He looked to kickstart a 2-out rally here. He did reach on a walk in his last at-bat. That one is delivered for a ball to open him up. 1-0 to Resmondo. With the 1-0 delivery, Burciago winds and delivers and puts that right down the plate for strike one to even it at one apiece. And Burciago has really come on in relief well, building upon the momentum that he generated in the Amsterdam Mohawks, in their victory against the Amsterdam Mohawks this past week. That was quite the upset. The Amsterdam Mohawks currently sit as the top-ranked team in the East Division. Mason Resmondo fires that right over to Matthew Carrera, makes a play and fires it over to Cole Waterman. And that is going to mark the end of the sixth inning. Burciago makes very quick work of the bottom half of this Lumberjacks lineup. Aren't able to get a runner on. Burciago works through that part of the order in 3-up, 3-down fashion. The Oneonta Outlaws will now look to further their lead in the top of the seventh with Cole Waterman, Dane Richards, and Ian Wirtz looking to do battle with relief pitcher Anthony Schatz, who's going to pitch his first inning of his outing tonight. We'll be back with that. And we're back here in the top of the seventh. Anthony Schatz will come into his first inning of relief on the night. He's completed his first year at Polk State, rising sophomore there. And Schatz has allowed 21 walks this season, but has also recorded 23 strikeouts across 26 and a third innings pitched. He has a 5.13 ERA. Along with a 1.67 whip on the season. He had 0 earned runs across his last 2 outings, along with just 1 hit and 3 strikeouts. So again, another guy that has been coming along nicely as the season has gone on. Become a staple arm in the Lumberjacks bullpen. Cole Waterman flares that down the first base line for a foul ball. Waterman will be the first hitter that Schatz will see against Oneonta tonight. So 0-1 count to the southpaw, who look to get past the left-handed hitter. Another lefty-lefty matchup. So if you've seen Jay Gonzalez approach this lefty majority lineup with a bunch of southpaws. Sebastian Rivera made the start, and he is opting to put Anthony Schatz in a relief position as well. He's done the scouting nicely and playing into his advantage with the majority lefty Oneonta Outlaws lineup. Baseball at the end of the day is a game of chess. Both coaches are engaging in that. We saw Oneonta orchestrate a double steal in the past inning. And it's really all about strategy. Each team has different strategies, but at the same time, there's a lot of similarities among how teams approach each other with shifts and everything. But Waterman fires that right to center field, and Jorge Oliveira makes a leaping grab out there. We saw how fast that ball came off the bat of Waterman there, but Oliveira gets to his spot quickly and reads it well to make that leaping grab to stop Waterman from reaching on a double or even a triple, because that was going to track deep into that right center field gap. But it'll mark the first out of the inning for the Lumberjacks. Schatz starting his outing strong with a quick out. And that's going to bring up Dane Richards, who puts that in the middle of the infield. Angel Santiago feels it and has to make up time, but fires it over to Nimala there to get out the speedy Dane Richards just in the nick of time. And Schatz has recorded 2 quick outs to open his outing. Ian Wirtz, the prolific hitter, will now step up. He's gone 3 for 3 tonight, and he will look to his first 4-hit game of the season right now with Schatz on the mound. And with no men on, Schatz has some wiggle room to work with. He puts that one right past Wirtz, just gets a piece of that ball on his fastball, opens him up well, challenges him directly, shows that he's not scared. He's not scared to approach him in that direct manner. So 0-1 count to Wirtz. The Lumberjacks pitching staff be able to get an out on him for the first time tonight, and that is delivered for a strike. Slows him down with an off-speed pitch. Great approach and strategy there from Schatz. He is quickly able to get into a payoff count here. Schatz sets, winds, and delivers, and that gets put right down to the plate. Wirtz is retired for the first time tonight. Schatz makes quick work of the heart of this Oneonta lineup. 3 up, 3 down for the first time tonight. And the Lumberjacks hitting will need to get it going quickly, down to their last 9 outs. But the top of the order for them is due up. Andy Perez, Chase Triplett, and Angel Santiago will look to get things started and really spearhead a comeback for this Lumberjacks team that is looking to snap their losing streak at 9 and don't want to see it extend to 10. We'll be back with Andy Perez at the plate. And we're back here in the bottom of the 7th. Andy Perez make his 4th plate appearance of the night in this inning. He's gone 1 for 3, grounded into a rare double play to end the inning in his last bat, and he gets well under that. That is going to stay in the infield. Zach Robinson able to get under it, and that is not the way you want to start if you are the Lumberjacks, wasting their leadoff hitter there. But that'll bring up Chase Triplett now to the plate. He's also had solid game, drawing 2 walks, but he did strike out in the bottom of the 5th. But he gets nailed by a pitch there. Advances to first for the 3rd time tonight. Flips his bat to the dugout as well, and he will trot on to first. The Lumberjacks have some life here. Angel Santiago will now step up to the plate. Reached on an error in his last at-bat by shortstop Matthew Carrera. Chase Triplett will be on first, so he has something to work with here. Can he start something special for the Lumberjacks, who really embodied comeback kids mantra at the start of the season, have not seen that same fire recently, as they have been the ones that teams have gotten comebacks on. Angel Santiago cuts right through that pitch. Strike 1. Burciaga again goes back to his staple pitch in that changeup, and he gets it right past Santiago there. 0-1 count. Santiago will look to record his first hit of the night. He's been another slumping hitter in this lineup. Burciaga gets him to cut through another curveball there. Saw Angel Santiago reach out his hands, tried at the last second to get a piece of the bat on that, but he couldn't foul it off. So 0-2 count. Payoff pitch here for Burciaga, who looked to get his 3rd strikeout of the night. He winds and delivers that, and that is flared foul. Santiago stays alive. Good battle here from the right-handed hitter, who had a home run and 2 RBIs in just 12 at-bats during his first collegiate season at Northwest Florida State College. He has really made an impact on this roster on the fielding side of things. Boasts a 90-mile-per-hour infield velocity. We've seen that cannon on full display so far this season. He's not a guy that makes a ton of errors at the shortstop position, and that just goes inside. So 1-2 count. Santiago wisely lays off that, and again, such a disciplined hitter in the batter's box. Team leading 26 walks. That's nearly 10 more than the next best hitter in that category, and he gets well under that. It'll stay in the infield. Jaden Kennedy charges out to get it, and he nags that ball. And Chase Triplett is going to attempt to take second there. Wise play, very heads up from Triplett, who saw that no one was covering second. A little bit of a blunder there from the Oneonta Outlaws field. No one was covering that bag, and Chase Triplett diagnosed it perfectly. So that'll technically be a sac fly for Angel Santiago on that one, and it'll advance Chase Triplett into scoring position with 2 outs, and Carter McKay now stepping up to the plate. Burciaga fires that fastball right on the outside part of the zone for strike 1 to McKay. Opens the count nicely. That is not a position where Carter McKay has the potential to pull that ball deep. Burciaga will look to implement that approach the later part of this at-bat, and he gets Carter McKay to foul tip that one into the mitt of Zach Porter. So quick 0-2 for Burciaga. Blanked the Lumberjacks throughout his outing, which started with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. He's gotten nearly through 3 complete innings of shutout baseball. He's the player of the game for Oneonta in their win against Amsterdam. Really shut things down against a ton of D1 level athletes. Burciaga delivers that and gets Carter McKay to swing right through that off-speed pitch. Went back to his curveball on that again. That is his signature pitch, and he gets Carter McKay to swing well early on that. Fooled him, and it showed. Burciaga works through another inning, and the Lumberjacks will now be down to their last 6 outs. But first, they will need to keep the lead at just 4 runs. As Anthony Schatz will step back onto the mound in the top of the 8th, where he will face Zach Robinson, Lorenzo Camilleri, and Jaden Kennedy to open up the inning. We will be back with that. And we're back here in the top of the 8th. Shots 3 up, 3 down in his first inning of his outing. Look to get through another inning where he blanks the Oneonta Outlaws lineup, but he will first and foremost have to face the home run hitting Zach Robinson. And shots, winds, and delivers that. He gets it to foul it back there. That one flew into the press box. Quite the foul ball there. That was a very eventful one from up here. That is the second ball that has landed in the press box this season. Nearly hit our PA announcer. Grazed his shoulder a little bit. And shots, winds, and delivers that, and that is put low and inside there to even the count at 1. Robinson has recorded a strikeout tonight, but walked in his last at bat, so he's gone 1 for 2. Strikeouts have been a struggle for the right-handed hitter this season. Shot. That high leg kick delivers it right down the plate. That breaking pitch is nearly unhittable. That is one of Shots' staple pitches. He has a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, but his bread and butter is really in his off-speed and breaking arsenal. So 1-2 count for Shots with the payoff pitch. Puts that one into the dirt, threw it away, tried to get Robinson to chase on that, but it'll be a 2-2 count. If you're the Lumberjacks, if you lose this game, really getting to dire territory, they will have a very limited shot of getting into the playoffs. Every single game for the rest of the season is seemingly a must-win for this team. They are down here. Shots hits Robinson on that one, but it went off his bat, it appeared. So got a little bit lucky on that, as that could have easily been a hit by pitch for Shots. It's been another category that he has struggled with this season. Shots again with the payoff. 2-2. Winds and delivers. Nearly got that one past Robinson, but he just got a piece of that ball. Able to stay alive. And Robinson actually is riding a 4-game hitting streak, which he continued tonight, so it's now at 5. He's only recorded 1 hit prior to this game. Had 4 strikeouts in his prior performances against the Lumberjacks, but with the 2-2 delivery, Robinson nails that right down the left center field gap, and that is going to track Jorge Oliveira, able to cut it off, but Robinson able to slide into second base for his second extra base hit of the night, showcasing that power that he has, and he's able to grind out a double despite not even reaching the fence. Quality running there from Robinson, and even better hitting from the right-handed hitter. Lorenzo Camilleri will now step up to the plate. Left-handed hitter will look to get something going off the southpaw on the mound. Lorenzo Camilleri has recorded 2 strikeouts tonight in back-to-back fashion, and that is put right on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Excellent approach from Shots to pitch away from Camilleri. Seen Rivera go to that earlier in this game. Shots continuing that trend. He uses off-speed there. That hung a bit on him. Camilleri expecting a fastball, swung early on it, and he just got a piece there. So 0-2, payoff pitch coming up. Robinson able to nail a double. The last payoff pitch that Shots had. Shots be able to avenge that here. Looks back at the speedy Robinson. Winds and delivers that. Robinson attempting to steal that back. Larson pops up, but there is no throw that is made. That is Robinson's 13th steal of the season right there. Slides safely into third base. Now he is 90 feet away from home. It will take as a sacrifice hit to get him home. 1-2 count to Camilleri. Shots. Winds and delivers. That is put outside and low there, even in the count at 2. Shots had a throwaway pitch to use there, and he used it. But he'll have just one more to work with here. So he'll look to record Camilleri's 3rd strikeout of the night. And Shots with that curveball. It has a very slurvy shape to it. Got him to cut right through it. Could not hold up his swing there. Connor Larson looks back at Robinson, makes sure that he is not going to attempt to take home, and throws it down to Nimala at first for the first out of the inning. That is Camilleri's third straight strikeout of the night. Good fielding play there from Larson to check back on Robinson, knowing that he does have some good speed out there, and kept him in check. That got him to stray back toward the third base bag, and he was able to make a clean throw to Nimala to get Lorenzo Camilleri out there. That'll bring up Jaden Kennedy in the 9-hole spot. Checks just high on shots. First ball of the count. But shots, another Winter Haven, Florida local, similar to Mason Resmondo. Both of them share the same hometown. The 1-0 delivery, he gets it past Jaden Kennedy, but that one gets past Larson, and Robinson strays a bit past third, but he is going to be called safe there. It looked like Miguel Gonzalez got a piece of the jersey of Robinson before he came back into third. He does not slide there, which likely would have prevented that situation in the first place. That was a well-placed tag there from Gonzalez, but doesn't get the call there from the umpire. Larson reacts quickly to that pass ball, gets right to the ball, and simply makes the wise play to throw it over to Zachary Robinson, who strayed a bit too far away from third. And that one gets put down for a ball to Kennedy there. But again, Larson has struggled to corral some routine pitches tonight behind the plate. Seen some pass balls get past him on ones that he should have caught. That was another one there, and he got lucky that it didn't go far enough to warrant Robinson running all the way to home. So 2-1 count for shots. And that is fired deep into left field, but Chase Triplett is unable to get under it. It tracks just past him. Jaden Kennedy corks his first extra base hit of the season, his second hit of the night, and that'll drive home Zachary Robinson, extending the Outlaws' lead to 8-3. Shots unable to stop the bleeding. Outlaws continue to tack on more runs as they have taken firm control of this contest against the Lumberjacks. They've really flipped the script against this squad here tonight. Have specifically struggled against the Lumberjacks this season, but are on the verge of securing their first win against them in their last matchup tonight, and it could knock the Lumberjacks out of playoff contention. And that'll bring up Owen Burnsworth, who will step up to the plate. Gets it right past him there for the first strike of the count. Put it outside and got him to cut through it on that. 0-1 here for Burnsworth. Burnsworth, 6.98 60 time. Almost stole a bag last time he got on base, but it was a foul ball out of Kaz Uehara. Does boast some good speed once he gets on the bag. He was also originally committed to Bentley College. Shots throws a pitch away from him there, but still has a payoff count to work with Kennedy looming on second base. Shots to look to record his third strikeout of the night, seeing his strikeout production climb recent. And that gets past Owen Burnsworth there. Second strikeout of the night for Burnsworth, and the third for shots. Able to get another out as the Lumberjacks look to get out of this inning. That slurvy curveball got past Burnsworth on that one. And that'll bring up Kaz Uehara to the plate. Had an opposite field single in his last plate appearance. And that one gets put right down the plate. Uehara didn't even look to turn his hands on that. Saw that curveball yet again and how it dipped from all the way to the inside of the plate to right down the middle. It's an almost impossible pitch to diagnose and see, and it got past Uehara to open up the at-bat. Shots delivers here right on the outside part of the zone. 2 quality strikes here from the southpaw. 0-2 count to Uehara. Struck out in the top of the first. Made contact. His previous 2 at-bats had a fielder's choice in the top of the fourth. But the payoff pitch, Uehara gets a piece of it, but it is going to go past the first base line. Reached out his hands on Shots' curveball. He got him, but Uehara able to track the ball with his eyes and landed just the slightest bit of contact on it to stay alive. He will live to fight another day. Look to record his 2nd straight hit of the night. Uehara, he recently had a multi-hit game with 2 doubles in their 14-10 win against the Glens Falls Dragons. Shots went to his fastball there, but tracks outside. 1-2 count. And Uehara, Shots really excels in these lefty matchups. He continues to focus on that leverage. Uehara gets a piece of that, and that is blooped into the shallow outfield, but Mason Rismondo makes an excellent diving grab out there. Standing ovation there for the second baseman. That is the 4th sliding grab of the night for this Lumberjacks fielding unit, and it stops the Outlaws from getting another run on the board. Excellent play there from Mason Rismondo, who again is making one of his first starts at second base this season. Erwin Cabasa, Mason Rismondo may have found their permanent homes at second and right field respectively with how they've been playing tonight. Lumberjacks down 5 still, down to their last 6 outs with Alex Burciaga stepping on to the mound. He has fooled this entire Lumberjacks lineup. He will look to continue his excellence against the squad. We'll be back with that. And we're back here in the bottom of the 8th. Jorge Oliveira looking to open things up in this inning for the Lumberjacks. Reached on a walk in his last at-bat. Had a single in the bottom of the first as well, but also grounded into a double play. He will face Burciaga. Second time tonight, he got under that, fouled it off. That is back. So 0-1 count. Burciaga continuing to deal against this Lumberjacks lineup. Has found something else in him as this season has drawn on. Looking to finish the season strong for the Outlaws. Continues to do that tonight. Gets one past Oliveira there. Went back to that breaking pitch again. Got Oliveira to cut right through it, put it in the exact same location as he did in the previous pitch. Oliveira just got a piece of it to stay alive, but still, another 2-out count. Gets it right past Oliveira on that. Went to his fastball after slowing Oliveira down, and it worked to a T. Burciaga gets his 4th strikeout of the night, his 2nd in a row. Ended the bottom of the 7th with a strikeout on Carter McKay. Directly challenged him after he was having a 3-hit night prior to the at-bat. He fits that one right the inside part of the zone, but that is not going to be called for a strike there. And Connor Larson, who is notoriously getting under the ball in this game, 2 foul outs and 1 weak flyout, has not been making square contact with the ball, and that has a lot to do with what Burciaga is giving him with those breaking pitches. That is put right on the inside part of the plate for strike 1 to even it 1 apiece. And if you're Keaton Mark, Josiah Aska for the Oneonta Outlaws, you have to wonder if Burciaga is pitching well enough to potentially close out this game. But Connor Larson gets a good piece of that, puts it right up the middle, and the Lumberjacks have something going here. He'll advance to first on that single, his first hit of the night and his second of the season. Erwin Cabasa will now step up to the batter's box. Looking to build upon the momentum that Larson built with that single. Cabasa had a double in the bottom of the 4th, but has had 2 groundouts along with that. Burciaga puts that off-speed pitch down there and got Erwin Cabasa to swing well early on it. That has been the main pitch that has been causing the Lumberjacks so many struggles against him tonight. They simply just haven't been able to hit it. He puts it in perfect locations where the Lumberjacks aren't able to drive those breaking pitches, and that ball gets fouled off there. A little foul tip from Cabasa, but that was another one where he swung well early on it, expecting the fastball out of the hand of Burciaga. He's really masking his pitches well, and you can see it on full display with how the Lumberjacks hitters have been reacting to him. They just simply have not been able to diagnose what he's been giving them. So 0-2 count. Burciaga winds and delivers, and he gets a piece of that nearly flew into the press box again, was under that, but stays alive with 2 straight foul balls in this count. Connor Larson still on first base, and Erwin Cabasa the opportunity to advance him, but Burciaga, payoff pitch to work with, puts that one low there, and that is going to get past Zach Porter behind the plate. Will advance Connor Larson into scoring position on that one. And that pitch did hit the dirt. Technically a wild pitch from Burciaga. Rare time that he missed the zone. Cabasa gets well under it. That has been what has plagued the Lumberjacks tonight. But he is unable. That is Cole Waterman out there. He's unable to corral it in foul territory. That is an easy pop fly to catch out there. But he simply just could not get that into his mitt. Maybe the lights had some impact on that. That is the likely case for him. So 1-2 count to Erwin Cabasa. Now still with a payoff delivery upcoming, but that should have been an out for the Outlaws, and it could mark the start of a comeback. Lumberjacks, you never want to give this team anything, as they showcased at the start of the season. And if the Lumberjacks are able to muster a bit of a comeback in the bottom of the 8th, which is still hasn't been proven yet, Cole Waterman could be kicking himself for missing that routine foul ball right there. But still, payoff pitch, Burciaga sets, winds, and delivers. And Erwin Cabasa gets under that. It is in right field there. No tag will be applied. And Jaden Kennedy out there able to get under it. Or my apologies, not Jaden Kennedy. Owen Burnsworth was able to get under that ball out in right field. Had plenty of time to spare on that one. So there's 2 outs now. Akil Nimala will now step up to the plate. Has had 2 strikeouts tonight. Burciaga will likely look to challenge him directly, since Nimala has not proven that he can put the ball in play tonight. Burciaga likely to use a healthy dose of that fastball off-speed mix. And Nimala skies that deep, but that is going to track just foul there. Got all of that baseball just a tad early on it. It seemed that that curveball hung just a little bit. Nimala read it perfectly on that one. but he was just slightly early there. That could have been Nimala's first home run of the season. Showcase that power that we know he has in that bat. And that is put inside on Nimala. So 2-1 count here for him. He was able to draw a walk in the bottom of the fourth, but his other two at-bats really got away from the right-handed hitter, and that one gets past him right there. That breaking pitch has been what is causing Nimala's struggles tonight. Two of his strikeouts were on off-speed and breaking pitches. He just simply has been well ahead on them, not seeing the ball well out of the Oneonta Outlaws pitching staff's arms. And Burciaga winds that up, and that just tracks outside the plate. Oneonta really wanted that call there. It looked like a near perfect spot from Burciaga. But 3-2 count coming up. Connor Larson still on second base, and Burciaga commanding the mound. Looks back at Larson, sets, winds, and delivers. Nimala puts it into play. Carrera right there, turns and fires it over to Waterman for the third out of the inning. That'll spoil Lumberjacks' chance to cut into this lead in the bottom of the eighth, and they will be down to their last 3 strikes. But first and foremost, they need to stop the bleeding, and will rely on their pitching staff to hold the lead to just 8. Lakeel Morris will now step onto the mound to relieve Anthony Schatz, who got through 2 innings, allowing just 1 run. Look to keep the hot Oneonta Outlaws lineup at bay in the top of the 9th. We will be back with that. And we're back here in the top of the 9th. Lakeel Morris will step onto the mound for the Lumberjacks to open his outing, maybe the only inning that he pitches tonight. Recent Stanislaus State graduate. He's really been a strong bullpen presence for the Lumberjacks this season. See, 3.93 ERA. Along with 16 strikeouts, 1.42 whip, has allowed 16 walks to go along with that, but is really limited opposing teams' hitting production, allowing just 10 hits on the season. He was one of the strongest curveballs in the PGCBL. That is his punch-out pitch, but he also has a heater of a fastball, which we just saw there. Goes right down the plate with Matthew Carrera looking to open things up for the Outlaws against Lakeel Morris. Be the first shot that they've seen of Morris tonight. And that curveball cuts just a bit too inside. Evens the count at 1. Lakeel Morris, he has 0 earned runs across his last 3 innings pitched. He has 3 appearances against Oneonta this season with 2 wins and just 1 earned run. So he has done exceptionally well, specifically against Oneonta this season. 2-1 count to Carrera, who has drawn 2 straight walks in his previous at-bats. And Morris fires that one just high there. Went back to that fastball that he commands. And Morris, 8.79 ERA his last collegiate season with 15 strikeouts. He stands at 6'4", 194 pounds. Very slender but tall build, which is synonymous with pitching success. That one scoots right on the inside part of the zone for strike 2. So it'll even the count at, or not even the count, it'll be a full count for Carrera. Yet to strike out tonight. Lakil Morris will look to change that. It's that high leg kick to initiate his delivery, but that one just a bit high. Carrera, 17th walk of the season for Morris with that one. Now Zach Porter will waltz up to the plate. And that is Carrera's 3rd straight walk that he has drawn tonight. Excellent plate discipline from the shortstop. Zach Porter struck out in his last at-bat, but drew a walk in the top of the 1st. He has yet to record a hit tonight, but that could change just like that. That one got a little bit high again on Lakil Morris, so first pitch ball to open the count. High and in on Porter. Haven't seen much of that advertised curveball that Morris boasts, and that is another high and inside pitch from Morris. Been really using that fastball. You have to wonder if he's hiding that curveball from the Oneonta Outlaws lineup, looking to use it at opportune times, speeding them up at first and then getting them well ahead on his very effective curveball. But that is going to be an attempted steal by Carrera. Connor Larson pops up, but he is in safe at second. It gets past Mason Rismondo there. Stolen base for Carrera. He has been really effective on the base paths tonight. Second leading stealer for the Outlaws. So 2-1 count to Porter at the plate. A runner now in scoring position in Matthew Carrera. Morris looks back. He has a great pickoff move that he boasts, and that slides right on the inside part of the zone for strike 1 on Porter. You can see it slide and clip just the inside of the chalk. That is what makes Lakil Morris such a productive option on the mound for Jay Gonzalez and Howie Krause. Lakil Morris delivers that. Porter chops it up a bit, rolls down the third base line, stays alive in the count. That'll bring up another payoff pitch for Lakil Morris. Watch out for that curveball here. That one is fired just high. His fastball is tracked a little bit above the zone tonight, and that is going to bring up another full count. Morris, he will look to prevent himself from recording his 2nd straight walk in this inning. Not a way that you want to open the outing. And Morris, a full count delivery, gets him to cut that one right into the shallow infield. Lakil Morris fields it cleanly, but that tracks Keel Nimala off the bag on that one. And that is going to allow Porter to advance to first on a single there. That was going to be a tough play regardless. Lakil Morris had to throw that ball while his body was moving in the opposite direction. Was able to fire it quickly to Nimala, but that caused it to be a bit inaccurate. And that is also going to advance Carrera to third. So runners on the corners for the Outlaws here with no outs. And Cole Waterman, the cleanup hitter, now stepping up. Let's see if he can do his job. Was able to scorch a ball right to center field in his last at-bat, but Lakil Morris got past him on the first pitch there. So 0-1 count to Waterman. one of the newest additions to this Outlaws lineup that has lost a considerable amount of production as the season has gone on. Very similar to the Lumberjacks, who have had guys dropping like flies from their roster. And that one gets past Waterman for a second straight time. Challenged him with the fastball again, and it paid off. 0-1 count here, or 0-2, my apologies. Payoff situation for Morris. Will he be able to take advantage of it and punch out his first runner of the outing? He sets, takes a deep breath, fires it back to first, but that is not going to be in time. You saw how effective that pickoff move is. Very deceptive. He moves his body so quickly on the pitcher's mound that he bluffs that he's simply setting up for a throw, but is actually planning on firing it back to first. That has gotten some guys out at first throughout this season and is one of his most effective moves on the mound. You really have to watch out if you are a runner and be very alert. And that one gets past Waterman there, unable to check his swing. And that is his third strikeout of the night. Very crucial out for the right-handed pitcher. Looking to make it 4 straight scoreless innings that he's pitched. He battles back there, gets the first out of the inning, and simply challenged Waterman with that fastball. He didn't even need to rely on that signature curveball to punch him out. And he continues that by getting it past Richards to open the count against him. Richards, despite having a 4-hit game the last time he was at Hanson Aggregates Field, has gone 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. And that one almost got Zach Porter at first. Lakeel Morris went back to his pickoff move for the second time, but the tag was just a little late there. Akil Nimala made a great play on that, and it looked like he may have nabbed him. He goes back to it there, but the umpire does not call it. So 0-1 count here for Morris. And one of the best attributes of Morris is that he is able to focus on the batter at hand while employing that pickoff move. Sometimes pitchers get so distracted with guys on first that they let counts get away from them. Lakeel Morris never gets in that situation, and he has really been better about walking and hitting guys as the season has gone on. Struggled against Utica specifically, but against other teams he's done an exceptional job of anchoring the bullpen. And that is going to be a ball there. So 1-1 count here for Richards at the plate. This is very atypical performance from Richards against the Lumberjacks, who has arguably been Oneonta's strongest hitter against this squad specifically. But 1-1 count coming up. Runners on the corners and just 1 out. Lakeel Morris will look to spoil the opportunity. That one gets fired right to Miguel Gonzalez and gets past him at third base. It'll plate another runner for the Oneonta Outlaws, who see their lead swell to 6 runs. The bat of Dane Richards, who drives one home there. It'll also advance Porter to second base. And that is going to mark the end of Lakeel Morris's scoreless inning streak. And now that is going to bring up Ian Wirtz, 3 for 4 tonight. And now you see Lakeel Morris going to that curveball. Got him to swing out well ahead of it, and it was well outside as well. You can see how effective that curveball is to get those swings and misses. Wirtz struck out in his last at-bat. And Morris fires that right down the inside part of the zone for strike 2. Looking to put 3 straight pitches past the extra hitter. Payoff pitch coming up with runners on first and second. Morris delivers. He gets him to cut right through that. 3 pitches, no problem for the right-handed pitcher, and he gets Ian Wirtz to swing on that breaking pitch. His second straight strikeout of the night. And that is now going to bring up Zach Robinson. 2 extra base hits tonight for the second baseman. Home run in the top of the 4th, and then a double in the top of the 8th, which was just last inning. He's gone 2 for 3 tonight. Struck out in his first at bat, but that has not been symbolic of his performance. He's really able to lock it in as this game has gone on. But Lakeil Morris delivers a strike right down the plate there on that fastball. Great pitch there. And Lakeil Morris, again, not being afraid of the strike zone. He is really hammering it and challenging hitters directly. That has been something that has plagued his effectiveness this season on the mound, is that he sometimes focuses on pitching away from batters too much. But tonight, he's done an excellent job of fitting it into the corners of the zone and simply putting it right down the plate as well. He has really embraced the strike zone rather than shying away from it, and it has been on full display tonight. That is, and Robinson's going to get under that. It is tracking into deep right center field, but Jorge Oliveira able to get under it, marking the 3rd out of the inning, but not before the Outlaws get another off the single from Dane Richards to extend their lead to 6 runs. The Lumberjacks will be down to their last 3 outs with their playoff hopes potentially on the line coming up in the bottom of the 9th, where Miguel Gonzalez, Mason Resmondo, and Andy Perez will represent the Lumberjacks' last hope. We will be back with that. And we're back here in the bottom of the 9th. Lumberjacks down to their last 3 outs in this contest. They've stranded 12 runners on base this game. Another driver of their skid has been their lacking ability to capitalize on driving runners home. And that has been the narrative tonight. They've had multiple bases loaded situations and multiple runners in scoring position situations where they just simply have not driven guys home. And Alex Burciaga will look to close things down. So Keaton Mark and Josiah Aska looking for him to finish this outing. He has been in the game since the last out of the bottom of the 4th. And Miguel Gonzalez drives that into left field there, but is not going to be deep enough. And Dane Richards able to get under it out there for the 1st out of the inning. Lumberjacks now down to their last 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. Mason Resmondo will now step up to the plate. Jeremiah McLemore pinch hitting for Mason Resmondo in the 10-hole spot for the Lumberjacks. McLemore really been a quality hitter for this squad throughout this season, posting a .275 batting average along with a .400 slugging percentage. That one goes off the end of his bat there, swung early on the curveball. Been the narrative tonight for this lineup. McLemore, he only has 5 walks compared to 15 strikeouts, and he chops that one up right there. Jamie Kennedy fields it cleanly, and that is fired over to Cole Waterman, but Jeremiah McLemore able to hustle out a single there to keep the Lumberjacks alive, and that is going to bring up the top of their order here with Andy Perez, the leadoff guy, stepping up to the plate. He has gone 1 for 4 tonight, and we'll look to spark something special for the Lumberjacks. that was the perfect spot of the infield for Macklemore to gut out a single. That one simply died in the shallow part of it. Jaden Kennedy had a long run to make that play, and he almost did. Gave Waterman a chance to scoop that up just in time for Macklemore, but it was just a fraction of a second too late. And those are 2 straight strikes from Burciaga against Perez, directly challenging the right-handed hitter, and he simply has not unloaded the bat yet. Surely he's going to rely on that curveball here. You can see him use it, but it actually hits Andy Perez. Rare miss there from Burciaga. And now there will be runners on first and second base for the Lumberjacks, with Chase Triplett now stepping up to the plate. Andy Perez likely not going to get a chance to break that stealing record tonight, since he is not the lead runner, with Jeremiah Macklemore sitting on second base. So with runners on first and second, Chase Triplett can make this a game with just one swing of his at bat. He fouls off the first pitch, bringing the count to 0-1. Triplett has drawn 2 walks and was hit by a pitch. So he's advanced to first, and 3 out of his 4 at-bats, he struck out in the bottom of the 5th. Takes a ball there. It's even the count at 1 apiece. Chase Triplett, Lake Mary, Florida local. Chance to shine on the biggest stage in this game. And he has been hitless in his last 3 games. Looking to break that streak tonight. Such a quality hitter at the plate. Has had some slumps throughout the season, but has always come back from them. But he is experiencing a minor slump right now. He's gone 3 for 9 against Oneonta prior to this game with 3 RBIs. And he puts that one right up the middle there. Kazu O'Hara fields that in time. Jeremiah Macklemore does not round for home. Wise decision there. And that is going to load the bases yet again for the Lumberjacks. Bringing up Angel Santiago to the plate. 1 out, and the bases loaded. Chase Triplett breaks that hitless streak with that clutch single. Angel Santiago had a sac fly in his last at bat, very rare sac fly that was actually an infield fly that advanced Chase Triplett to second base because no one was covering the bag. Prior to that, he reached on an error, also walked, and then grounded out to third. So hasn't struck out tonight, has been putting the ball in play. And that one is put right down the plate from Burciaga, so evens the count at 1 here. But Santiago going to be a very hard player to strike out. Again, those 26 walks that he boasts compared to just 17 strikeouts on the season. He has a hefty number of at-bats, but he does get under that pitch there. Flares it back. So payoff count coming up here for Burciaga, who looked to put the cherry on top of this excellent performance from the right-handed pitcher. He has worked himself into a bit of a jam here, really his first of the night. Really commanded the mound and stifled the Lumberjacks' batting order. And that one cuts right inside, but that is not going to be called for a strike 3. Narrowly missed the chalk on that, but it'll even the count at 2. Angel Santiago, too disciplined of a hitter to swing the bat on a pitch that he likely wasn't going to make contact on. And he does make contact there, drives it into center field, and Kazu O'Hara has difficulty corralling it. Angel Santiago attempting to take second there, and that is going to be a huge mistake from him. But that'll also advance 2 runners home in Andy Perez and Chase Triplett off the single from Santiago. Excellent hitting there as he flared that into opposite field. And that'll actually, Jeremiah Macklemore and Andy Perez will be the 2 that advance there. So 2 RBIs for Angel Santiago, who fortunately gets put out. The throw from Kazu O'Hara to second on that play. And that one is put right back to Alex Burciaga. He catches it to end the game. Carter McKay cuts through that first pitch, doesn't take his time with Burciaga on the mound, and just thought that he liked that pitch, but it was very weak contact from him. So Burciaga really puts the Oneonta Outlaws over the edge here, pitching 5 1/3 innings from 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th all the way to the end of the game. What an excellent performance from the reliever. And that is going to mark the 10th straight loss for the Boonville Lumberjacks, who have just simply continued their free fall in the standings, moving them to 17-20-1. This is a very dejected squad right now that simply can't muster a win. And the Oneonta Outlaws simply dominated this game wire to wires. Very consistent hitting, scored in 5 out of the 9 innings that they were at the plate. And the Lumberjacks just simply couldn't maintain that type of consistency. Scored their only 3 runs prior to the bottom of the 9th in the bottom of the 1st and the bottom of the 3rd respectively, then waited until the bottom of the 9th to tack on 2 more. And this lineup just simply has had cold streaks where they can't get anything going, and that impacts them again. Left 13 runners on base in this game. And Oneonta Outlaws escape with their first win against the Lumberjacks this season, and it could spell the end of the Lumberjacks season. They will have a huge uphill battle to work with, or to battle against, in their last 4 games of the season. They will be back tomorrow against the East Division leading Amsterdam Mohawks at Hanson Aggregates Field. Recently lost to them 5-3 last night. And this is Grant Walters on the call, signing off. We will see you guys tomorrow night, and thank you again for listening. Go Lumberjacks.